Charlie, Charlie Kirky. I spot the perky. Charlie, Charlie Kirky. I just Charlie, Charlie Kirky.
Bitter Oblivion 0 and is the winner beans on toast.
Hi. Did you know that it's illegal to say
We should kill the president. Label me a dissident. It's only American to wanna kill the president. Yo, we should kill the president. Label me a dissident. It's only American to wanna kill the president. This is how the world ends. He's killing all of my best friends. I don't think I'll be content till someone kills the president. I don't wanna believe it, but I think that it bears repeating. We should shoot a billionaire, film it, put it on the air, drag him by his Turkish hair. No one cares. We should shoot a billionaire.
they talk openly about killing us every day, and their campaign ads, budget proposals, executive orders, and their rambling misspelled tweets, they revel in violence. Why shouldn't we?
Oh, hello, filthy, miserable dirt peasants. I can't seem to find my very impressive castle. Maybe you've seen it?
We should kill the president. We should kill the president. Yeah, we should kill the president. We should kill the president. Yeah, we should kill the president. We should kill the president. Yeah, we should kill the president. We should kill the president. We should kill the president. Yeah, we should kill the president. We should kill the president. Yeah, we should kill the president. 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 We should kill the president.
Happy Monday, everyone. My name is Charlie. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem, it's me. It's Charlie. I lost my lighter. It's in my pocket. Anyway, hello. Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. Today I decided to dress up as a mom who got 2 hours of sleep last night because children had vomit. So that's the best. This is the best you get today. Hi, hello, Charlie. Hello, Bitter. Hello. Hello, General. Hello there. I think I can do it. Hello there.
Howdy,
Anyway.
partner. Welcome to the Vicky and Vance Casino
Oh my
and Museum.
goodness. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow, Triple Threat. 0TX. I assume that's Texas. Oh my god. More Texans in the chat. Hello. Okay, so I'm assuming you guys saw the news. I just happen to assume. You know, I know assuming makes an ass out of you and me, but I just kind of, if you haven't, let me know. But Texas, like where I'm from, yeah, Texas, where you're from, they do like beans on toast there, but like it's usually like Texas toast, and it's usually like baked beans, and they're usually like eaten next to each other with some barbecue, cornbread and beans. Anyway, what's going on over there? How you doing, Bitter? What's the opinion of the U.S. from your side of the pond? Because I'm gonna tell you this right now. Hassan Piker has never been more correct. Like, what's he always say? Being a leftist is right, but too early. And like, it's so funny because I was just talking about last stream how, like, Hassan saying America deserved 9/11 was like my way of knowing that this community was for me. And then all of a sudden the United States pulls another Hassan was right. Pulls another Bush. Okay, we're in the war on terror 2.0. Incompetent government boogaloo. All right, that didn't really rhyme that well. But it's I've never seen so many death to Americas on my timeline. Let me just say this right now, okay? Everyone suddenly understands what Hassan meant when he said, fuck it, dude, I'm saying it. America deserved 9/11, okay? I don't care how many people are like, oh, do you think that the death of over 1,000 people justifies 9/11? And it's like, bro, how many fucking people have died worldwide because of United States intervention? We wouldn't have even had 9/11 if it wasn't for fucking the United States intervention, okay? How far back do you want me to go in order to prove that we deserve this, okay? I don't think I need to go that far back. Look at what's happening in Venezuela, okay? For those youngins in the chat who were not alive for Y2K, let me just break this down for you. Sometime in the 1990s, okay, actually before that, during the Gulf War, there was a whole bunch of destabilization going on in the Middle East, and America was involved. Big shocker there. So there was the Gulf War, and we had like trained a bunch of people to help like defend their lands. I forget like the 100% version, okay? Approximate knowledge here. So we helped train them in like warfare, okay? In battles and, you know, how to, you know, train a standing military. And we gave them weapons. And one of these people in this group was named Osama bin Laden. There's footage of him vibing with the Americans, learning shit in like 1990 whatever, all right? So I feel like I'm yelling over the music again. Okay, so fast forward. Saint! Hello, everyone. I'm just gonna be lurking while I'm at work. Okay, don't mind me. I'm gonna be ranting. I didn't realize it was gonna be such a heavy news week. I'm glad I forgot my paint. Like, the correct paint. This one's still chunky. Anyway, Saint, have fun at work. Okay, so in, like, the 1990s, and everyone can correct me on this date, Osama bin Laden decided to get a bunch of people to plant some bombs at the bottom of the World Trade Center. And this was during the end of the Clinton administration, if I'm correct. So it failed. It didn't work. But the foundation was still kind of rocked. And people were like, oh my God, Al-Qaeda exists. So, but we also forgot, like, immediately. We got too distracted with Monica Lewinsky. I'll say it now. So then Bush becomes president. His vice president is one of like the biggest stockholders or on the board of Halliburton, somebody who makes our weapons. There's a couple of other people who have like a bunch of stocks and stuff. Bush's family is best friends with like Saudi Arabia. I'm gonna say it's Saudi Arabia, but I'm probably wrong. Which is where Osama bin Laden is from and where Al-Qaeda is based. But you know what the United States government decided to do once 9/11 happened? We went into Iraq. Yeah. That, for those who don't know, they are not the same country. No. So, anyway, the United States government gets information ahead of time, just like it did with Pearl Harbor. Like, hey, we're gonna blow your shit up. You need to stop being interventionists and leave us the fuck alone. Okay? Also, death to America. We hate you. So, America gets these letters, right? They know about it. They're aware. They chose to ignore it, just like Pearl Harbor, okay? Same exact thing. 9/11 happens. It's horrific. Everything that happens around it, horrific. Absolutely. Watching those people jump out of windows, watching those people, you know, those buildings collapse, the people running from the dust clouds. I witnessed that in real time, okay? Watching the plane hit the second tower. I mean, we've watched a ton of videos on it. Here, you can go back to any one of my live streams and we'll probably watch more of it. But, when 9/11 happened, a lot of people were really scared and wanted revenge right away. And so we decided that Iraq was where we needed to go to topple the the Saddam Hussein regime. And so what the American government did is it came up with a bunch of lies to say that Saddam was doing all these awful things. And there might have been some truth there. I don't know. I don't know what the propaganda is, okay? I do not hold a degree in like 2001 geopolitical, okay? I'm sorry. This is vague knowledge of everything I understood from the news at the time. So, we capture Saddam Hussein. We then torture him and hang him. And it was filmed and published everywhere. I'm sure you've seen pictures if you've free scrolled the internet for 5 seconds. But, the reason we went to Iraq was because Halliburton wanted to make some money and we needed oil. And instead of just saying that outright like they're doing with the Trump administration, they kind of hid it. They were like, oh, you know, they're gassing their people, which if you know anything about the Geneva Convention, gassing each other is a big no-no. So now we see like the same exact thing. And I would like to point out for everybody that once again, boats are involved, yes. And I don't mean like the boats doing the firing. I don't mean the American vessels firing into Venezuela. I mean like the fishing boats exploding. So for those who don't know, Bitter, I don't think you were around for this, but almost every single major American conflict involves a boat. Okay? All right, hear me out. World War I, the sinking of the Lusitania, okay? A passenger ship, totally not sending arms to Britain for World War I. No, totally not. Absolutely not. So, I skipped one. The Maine, okay? Remember the Maine? That started the Spanish-American War, all right? Teddy Roosevelt was in that, Rough Riders. We have Pearl Harbor, all the boats. Then we have was it Korea? Was it Korea where there was like a United States boat going up like the river and it got attacked and that's what like sent us into Korea? Is that what I'm remembering? I don't think that was Vietnam. And then I'm gonna fast forward here a little bit because I don't know off the top of my head how the Gulf War started, but the war on terror was started by a skyboat. Okay, what is a plane? Okay, what is a passenger plane? Okay, just a boat in the air. I can finally talk. I forgot I still had timers on. I'm sorry about that. Hi, Triple. So yeah, we had skyboats crash into towers. And now we're blowing up boats off the coast of Venezuela. And no, I'm not from Texas. Aw. Hi. So yeah, coincidence? Correlation, coincidence? I don't know. I can't be the estimate of that. But all I'm saying is that there's a lot of American, like, conflicts that involve boats. Okay? I can't be the only one that sees this pattern recognition. I can't. Hi, Kenny. Welcome in, babe. So yeah, we're talking about boats again. Anyway, that's. I mean, I said it too. I was like, guys, if we see a boat explode, when they captured the tanker, I was like, is this gonna be the one? Will this be the boat that explodes that starts a war? Turns out, no. It was just the fishing boats, and it didn't even start like anybody else attacking us. It was just us attacking them outright. Now Twitter is full of people screaming death to America, and all I have to say is that every one of you owes Hassan an apology. Everyone who's like, the US totally deserves everything that we're gonna get, the United States boats are a sign of evil. Yeah, that's what I'm starting to think. It's confirmed. Oh my god, yes, thank you, Kenny. OTX stands for on the Zan. Shan. Wait, is it like S like in Chinese, or is it like X, like that sounds like Z. On the Shan. Boats mean doom. I'm seeing that. Like Xanax. Okay, thank you. But yeah, I'm seeing so many people on the timeline talking about how, like, oh, if something happens to America, we deserve what's coming to us. Somebody needs to come into our country and take our dictator away. So I'm just like, can you guys apologize, please? The song got like canceled and it's still brought up. Andrew Cuomo brought it up during the New York mayoral debate. Do you denounce Hassan Piker? Okay, he held a press conference out in New York, like in a little park, and it had pictures of Hassan on an easel, and he was like, this man said America deserved 9/11, and it's like, bro, he said that because of American interventionism and the way that we treat the rest of the world and the way that like our structure dominates everything, that we absolutely had 9/11 coming, because look at all the wreckage that we've left behind us. Like, why is it that complicated? It's so frustrating. I even got yelled at in like a bunch of comment sections on like my video talking about how like I knew Hassan's community was for me when I saw his cancellation, because I used to be Team Freedom Fries, okay? I wanted the Iraq War. I remember standing Bush like he was my own family member, okay? Now, all I do is watch clips of him go watch his drive and do like a kickflip. Like, the guy who threw the shoe at him in the press conference, I still follow him on Twitter. I don't get it. I don't get, like... So, I was watching a Warhammer lore video last night. I forget who it was by, but it was really, 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 really good. You know what? I'm gonna find it. That's how good it was. Hi, Hobby.
Oh, you almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
Hobby husband is too slow.
You are. This time. History. So, okay, here it is. More lore. Share. Copy. Paste. Enter. Okay. So, this video, but you guys can't really see, was, it was about the Horus Heresy. For those who don't play Warhammer, the Horus Heresy was some kind of battle. I'm still not even really sure. It was almost like a civil war between chaos that like possessed some of like the demigods and the not possessed demigods, if I'm understanding and explaining that correctly. And like at one point, the chaos traders who were turning on the emperor, I'm trying to remember the best way to do this. Turning on the emperor, they're kicking butt, they're taking names, they've you know, the Horus Heresy is the Space Marine Civil War. Yeah, that's the best way I could try to summarize it. So Horus is doing like this great job of like getting people to go to different areas so they can't be there to protect the emperor so he can kill the emperor. But then like as they're getting better and better, or as they're going like closer and closer, they start having like the weirdest issues happening where like, you know, troops don't show up a certain place or other people accidentally open fire on other people. And then there started to be like infighting. Like they started like each demigod that's possessed, right? And the chaos traders, they each have different personalities and want different things. And then they all started fighting with each other because they couldn't turn off their egos, or their like chaos was corrupting them. Horus, the son of the emperor, had different beliefs in saving humanity, and it caused a war because Cerberus is a stupid poo-poo head. Yes. Yes. Wow, we're at 8K already? I wonder if we'll hit the goal. So, you know, I was just actually telling Hobby, I was like, Cerberus is like one of the name of the chaos god, like a chaos god entity from Greek mythology. I forget who it is exactly, but I think it's literally chaos. Fuck Cerberus. Yeah. What's his name? Magnus did nothing wrong. There go your points again, Bitter. So anyway, they started infighting, and that's what I picture with this current Trump administration, right? Like, they're getting stuff done, they're accomplishing some of their goals, they're being dickheads, they're making everybody's lives miserable, they're throwing chaos around the board like it's nobody's business. But the problem is that they collapse from the inside the hardest. And now Magnus did nothing wrong. Yeah, Magnus did nothing wrong. He was trying to ward his, okay, he did do one thing wrong. He shouldn't have used the webway. He was told to do nothing, and he did nothing wrong. He shouldn't have used the webway, but I think the Emperor should have been way better at communication with his kids, all right? Not telling them what he was doing was a bad idea. So anyway, I feel like the Trump administration is that, like, everybody's got, like, an ego in there, and, like, Elon had the biggest ego. Absolutely. 100p. That's why he's not there anymore. Dan Bongino, I don't know if he has an ego, but I do think he has morals and principles that he adheres to. And I think
Howdy,
that's...
partner. Welcome to the Vicky and Vance Casino and Museum.
Thank you for the follow. Welcome in, Keem. It really feels like they're all kind of like infighting, and I feel like Trump is the cracked pillar. That's just like, as soon as it gets taken out or falls or crumbles or whatever, like the support beam's just gonna give and everything's just gonna cave in on itself, because nobody likes Vance. For someone who reads a lot of books, he was pretty fucking stupid then. Yeah, I blame his one eyeball. He wasn't reading a book about the webway. Oh boy, I'm fired up now you've mentioned this. Dude, Hobby was like, oh, can we put this, like, this Warhammer video on? And I was like, yeah, it looks kind of chill. I might not watch it. And all of a sudden, next I'm like in bed, like, oh, what's happening next? Who's on what side? I couldn't keep up with it a little bit, okay? I needed, like, logos on the screen. That was my biggest thing, is like a logo on the screen of the person you're talking about would be great, because then it's easier for me to remember who is who, because he was just showing these like 3D images and like official Warhammer art and fan art, and I was like, I can't. All I know is that Corvus Coron is named after like ravens, and he's got a raven army. Horus did nothing wrong. He was manipulated by Cerberus. Fuck that guy. I know. I don't know. At some point, you are responsible for your actions, and you need to stop being you need to stop infantilizing Horus. I don't know. It's a great video. Check it out. I was very surprised at how good it was, because like I said, I was like ready to roll over and try to go to sleep, and we got 5 minutes in, and I'm like, wait, I have this question, I have that question. Horus is just a baby, just a baby, just a little baby. So yeah. Yeah, I feel bad for, I think, I don't feel bad for anybody. maybe anybody. Just a little guy. Because, like, everybody's emotions get the better of them. Like, some people, like, charge headfirst in a battle and are so blinded by rage and revenge that they don't notice the trap right in front of them. And, like, other people are just, like, too cocky. And it's just, like... What's the pretty one's name? He's kind of the one I feel a little bit bad for. He was Dune from the start. I feel bad for Angron. So, Lehman Russ is still missing, right? Like, he's still, like, disappeared. And then I saw that there were like 2 broken statues. And Conrad Cruz, my dear sweet boy. Listen, Caiaphas Cain is my boy. Sanguinius. Caiaphas Cain is my biggest stan. I know he's not a Primarch, but he's my favorite. Russ is missing. Yeah, that's what I thought. But anyway, there were 2 broken statues. I think it was like Primarch number 2 and Primarch number 11 are just like MIA. And were like completely written out of the histories. And Hobby was telling me that Westhammer posted a video about how like they think it's like so you could do like a self-insert character. But I am under the impression that it's capitalism and that they are just gonna be like, look guys, here's this new Primarch that we're adding to the thing and it's a whole new faction. And we gotta rebalance the game. So now you have to buy every single one of these new models and our new book to go with it. 2 and 11 don't exist. Yeah, I'm gonna put money on they're gonna show up. One of the 2 is gonna show up, or both will. And they're gonna be their own faction, and they're gonna come in with one of the new things. Okay? Because that just sounds like some greedy capitalist bullshit Warhammer would pull, you know? Games Workshop. Oh, this mysterious character that's been missing from the plot forever and actually hasn't been named or numbered or anything? It's a model now. Congratulations, you have a whole new army. GW left it like that so you can keep making it up is the original thing, but it could be capitalism. I'm not trusting that whole like, oh, they're doing it for you to have a self-insert character. Girl, nobody Mary Jane's like that. Okay, nobody. Like, okay, then let me write fan fiction, you know? All I know is I am Alpharus. I don't know. Anyway, it was a very good video. I recommend it. 10 out of 10. But Bush did 9/11. I had war with Venezuela on my bingo card. I didn't have it on like the first month. I didn't have it on a specific month. But I will say, it involves boats, and that was also on my bingo board. Dominatus. Oh yeah, he's like the green one, right? That like has like the scales, and he's got like a twin brother, and one of the 2 died, but maybe didn't die. No? See, that's why I needed logos next to the characters' faces. Because I was just like, who is who? It was a good video. It was a really, really good video. I can't stress that enough. I was like, I don't know, an hour and something long minute video. And then by like 10 minutes in, I was like, buckle up. Same as that guy is Alfreus. So he is, oh my god, Bitter, you're confusing the hell out of me. And I am him, I give up. I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep, no caffeine, and a fucking prayer right now, man. I know everybody's worried about like the population collapse and stuff. But if I could tell you anything, it's don't have kids. If it's too late, too late. Don't have kids, alright? I know people are like, oh, you're gonna be so miserable. Like, you're so selfish and like you're gonna die alone on your deathbed. And it's like, make it sound less attractive. This is exactly how Alpha Legion works. Okay. Like, it's just, I love my kids, but it's exhausting. Waking up, well, I wasn't asleep. I couldn't fall asleep, but it was like 3:30 in the morning. And my youngest came in and he was like, threw up. And I was like, you threw up? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And then he started to make a gagging noise again. We ran him into the I ran into the bathroom with him. And he was covered from like here all the way down his side, across his chest, down to his leg, his bed. Oh, gotta give him a bath. I don't think we got back into bed until
Look
almost
at this
4
guy.
a.m.
Triple Threat 0TX wants to know what you're wearing.
Oh, I'm wearing mom clothes right now. Oh, I guess I'm in the yeah. I got the mom jeans, okay, and I got the crop top, and I got some pale skin. Holy shit! I also have a hoodie, and I got the Uggs. Yeah, I got the mom fit today. I was like, I am not putting any effort into my outfit tonight. Yeah, you're not getting it. Sorry. Normally I try to look a little cute. Oh, God. Looks good, though? Thank you. Still looks great as always. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not gonna lie. These kinds of shorts, I don't like them. I feel like they just look... I don't know. They remind me of, like, 2005. I can't. But I need pants. I'm down to, like, 2 pairs. Always looking cute. Thank you. Oof. So anyway, I didn't get any farther on my trog. I probably won't today. Because... Oh. Camera's deactivated. Girl. Does this. Activate. Okay, so... I feel a little bit better now that I've seen some of it dry. I gotta put more of these, like, bands here. These tan bands, but I have to go over all of, like, the pink and blue. Then what I think I'm gonna do is hit it with, Turbo Dorks, I think it's matcha. It's like a yellow-green color. I have to be awake in 5 hours. Girl, go to bed. Wait. It's 11 o'clock your time. That's early. It's looking so good. I'm not happy with it, but I think once I start going over it with like a green wash and then a green like metallic paint or like something reflective, it'll really give it that gemstone vibe a little bit more. But we're getting there. I like the booty cheeks. I guess the metallic undercoat did kind of work. I do see it on the camera. I'll get there. I will get there. What a day, man. I wanted to check out Twitter because it's been a few hours. But I have just been spamming people's posts with a picture of Hassan from the Fuck It Dude, America Deserved 9/11. That Trog's got cake. Yeah, most of them do. Even under, like... Where are they? Like, look at this. It's cake, but it's not the kind I want to eat, for sure. It's like... I love Warhammer. Damn, yeah, right? All their booties are like that. Yeah, Twitter's been like... absolutely wild. I'm shocked there isn't a single, like, US senator or representative that's like, I'm gonna go in and draw up articles of impeachment tomorrow. And it's like, if you aren't doing that, why are you in government? Get out. Get out. You are sworn to uphold the Constitution and you're not fucking doing it. Get out. I hate you. Cory Booker, I fucking hate you. I hope I broke his fax machine. During just after like Trump got inaugurated, I forget what happened, but I started getting really annoyed. Blue, welcome in, babe. I started getting really annoyed that nobody was doing anything. And so, oh, and then I found out Cory Booker was the social media, like, he was the person planning their social media campaigns, right? Like, he was trying to tell everybody, like, this is where you should post, this is how you should post, this is how often you should post. And it made me so angry, like, so angry. So I got his fax machine and I found a website that lets you send faxes to your representatives, and you can upload 4 images, like, 4 things. You can write something, and then you can add 4 not hyperlinks, I don't know what to call them. They're the little, like, clothespin not a clothespin. Wow, I'm fucking this up hardcore. Anyway, you could attach 4 things. You could have 4 attachments. So what I did is I copy and pasted the Declaration of Independence, and then the attachments were, God, they were like the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, the Federalist.
Christ, there's a boomer around here.
I copy and pasted the entirety of the Federalist Papers as one of the attachments for Cory Booker. And you could do that 4 times a day per email address. I have several email addresses. I did it one day. I did 4 from each email address. 4 email addresses that I use that I can still get into. And I did 4. So 16. What's a fax? It's like a printer that you can send stuff to with a landline. They're not really used anymore. But I've been in a few businesses that still use them. It's kind of annoying. But yeah, so basically my goal was to break his fax machine. Carfax, like the Carfox, yes, like the Carfox. I think I did because at one point my partner was questioned about me because I was having like full blown arguments with like New Jersey Democrats and talking mad shit online. And so somebody had asked my partner who knew them and was like, "Hey, what's this about Cory Booker's fax machine?" Oh, I also sent pictures of Nicolas Cage. I must tell you that. There were some that were just the Declaration of Independence and pictures of Nicolas Cage. So I like to imagine that my hope is that I sent so many faxes that it not only broke the fax machine, but when the new fax machine was plugged in, it continued to print over top of the stuff that was already coming out. Because I have seen where I've experienced printers and fax machines where you print something so many times that it gets kind of memorized by the machine and it will just keep rolling through with that image on it. Oh my God. You've contributed 4,000? What are we at? Are we going to get the movie night? We're at 40%. Yeah, so I'm proud of me too. I continued to do that for about a month and then I finally got tired of it. Especially once we got that email that was like, excuse me. So I just, what a beautiful world to do that. So anyway, if you could find that website, I don't remember what it is, but it's like Fax Your Representative. I recommend you do that. It's fun, okay? They might only get emails, but think about this. You email them 4 times with 4 attachments and a text, right? A text page that can be, I think it was like 5,000 characters or something like that. So you can send that 4 times a day from one email address. Could you imagine having, like, you're off on, like, a Friday? Oh, that was the thing too. I did it on, like, a Friday night. So I did it through the weekend. I'm pretty sure they got, like, 400 pages printed out. Like, okay, so 4 email addresses, 4 emails every day for 3 days. 16, right? 4 times 4 is 16, and then 16 times 3, 8, 1, 4. 48. 48 times. Okay? And then, like, how many pages were each of those things? Like, each of those 48 pages. Like, it's got to be close to 400, right? So, be petty, okay? Be petty. Girl. There are so many things that you can do that's like malicious compliance. Like, yeah, you're allowed to email and call and fax your representative at any one of their offices. So be obnoxious about it. Be obnoxious. Also, don't know who needs to hear this, but soup in a can is considered a weapon. Soup thrown from a can, not a weapon. Throwing food at people is considered humiliation and is not punishable by law in the United States, and there is Supreme Court precedent for it. Just so you know, throwing tomatoes at people is technically legal. It's not assault. What I'm talking about, malicious compliance, guys. Campbell's soup is a weapon. Yes. If you hit somebody with a Campbell's soup can, that's considered a weapon. It's assault with a weapon. I almost guarantee you, if you purposely beat someone or threw a Campbell's can at someone and you got in trouble for it, like to the point where you had a court case, a jury would most likely find you guilty. But if you throw soup on somebody, of course it's not all salt. it's it's a tomato. Have you seen Campbell's tomato soup salt levels? The world these days. What do you mean these days? Campbell's soup has been around for forever. They complain that they make soup for poor people. Oh, man. What a day. What a time to be alive. I feel like I'm living. No, because I'm not American. Fair, 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 fair. I thought you were from Texas. I thought you were from Texas, Bitter. Yeah, I'm a Texan. Texas is in America. I thought technically it was Mexico, but once again, manifest destiny, imperialism forced us to take another country's land. Ooh. Okay. Oh, yeah, it feels like I'm living in like 2002 all over again. Like we had just like what was it like 2 months ago, Blue? Where we wrapped our not like our early 2000s playlist. I am in New Vegas. Yeah, lesson plan, the 2000s. Back when you addressed Congress about declaring war and not like just doing it. Does any of it seem familiar to it, Blue? Also, I need to know what is everybody else's reaction to what is going on. I got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle, jangle. I don't know the words for there. But I do know that patrolling the Mojave almost makes me wish for nuclear winter. Ooh.
Americans have known wars, but for the past 136 years,
Why is it so dark?
they have been wars on foreign soil, except for one Sunday in 1941.
It's difficult to be surprised with how comically horrible Trump is. Yeah. It's I mean, I've lived through this. Bush was a bad president. He's not that far off from Trump, minus like as far as I'm aware, the child rape, being best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, um separating immigrants, although America kind of did that with the way we were so Islamophobic during and post 9/11. I'm not surprised, but I am appalled. I'm glad people are appalled. I wish it seems like to me the European leaders are immediately kissing the United States ass. And it's like, stop. Like Spain said it like best. First it's Venezuela, next it's one of you. Okay, sorry. Patrolling US politics almost makes you wish for nuclear winter. I mean, I do have a fallout shelter right down the street from me. But yeah, the Bush administration is not that far off from the Trump administration. It's just that they're like more racist, more pedophilic, and couch fuckers. Like all of them are like hacks and jokes, but it's the same energy, you know? Freedom fries. Yep, that was me.
Americans have known the casualties of war, but not at the center of a great city on a peaceful morning.
America is so fucking lucky it's on the other side of the hemisphere. Like, oh my God. I think if we did this shit and we were like, I think if America was where like, what was like Italy, like, let's just say like, we aren't Italian. I'm just saying like, let's flip flop, right? Let's just put America where Italy is and let's put Italy where America is. If America was there and doing this shit, we would be done by now. We would be fucking done, okay? We would have been bombed to hell back and forth. But we're so far away from everywhere else, and we have the most amount of money spent on military instead of helping our own people. It's absolutely insane. We got kids going to bed hungry at night, and everybody's like, yeah, let's bomb Venezuela. It's like, bro, you didn't learn? You did not learn? I don't know a single person today who doesn't think Iraq was a mistake, who doesn't think the war on terror was a mistake.
Have known surprise attacks, but never before on thousands of civilians.
Also, it's not a surprise attack. I know he's propagandizing to the American nation, and we are never supposed to officially know. They got notification that 9/11 was happening, just like Pearl Harbor, and they purposely chose to ignore it. The whole thing could have been avoided.
All of this was brought upon us in a single day, and night fell on a different world, a world where freedom itself is under attack.
I feel like most things are inside situations. Yeah. Well, and Pearl Harbor happened because the United States put a blockade on Japan, and Japan was like, hey, stop. You're not involved in this war, or we're gonna attack. And then the United States was like, throw it in the trash. Absolute garbage. Let it happen. We've been manufacturing for years, preparing for this. Great time to enter. And then Pearl Harbor happened, and the American nation was like, yeah, we gotta get revenge. So fucking dumb.
We got an issue in America. Too many good docs are getting out of business.
Don't take me back to 2002. I don't want to be a newborn baby again. You know what sucks is that now you are picturing yourself as a newborn baby with this information.
Too many OBGYNs aren't able to practice their love with women all across this country.
And in his brief remarks, the president drew a roar from the crowd after putting his foot in his mouth.
You helped our nation celebrate its bicentennial in 1976.
The president's humor came to the rescue.
She gave me a look that only a mother could give a child. Thank you, Rolling. That's awesome, please. Is that Sam Donaldson? Forget it, you're a has-been. I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Thank you.
Watch
Now
this
watch
drive.
this drive. Our enemies are innovative.
I'm sorry. That's the best one. That's the best one. That and the shoes getting thrown at him.
And resourceful. And so are we. They never stop thinking about new ways to harm our country and our people, and neither do we. I think they misestimated the will and determination of the Commander-in-Chief, too. A year ago, my approval rating was in the 30s. My nominee for the Supreme Court had just withdrawn.
Backflip.
And my vice president had shot someone.
Bye, bitter.
I said to him the other day, George, if you really want to end tyranny in the world, you're going to have to stay up later. Here's our typical evening. 9 o'clock. Mr. Excitement here is sound asleep. And I'm watching Desperate Housewives.
Have they seen him dance?
Well,
Because they might want to rethink.
oh, that's not good. Maybe he'll play with the band.
He cracks me up when he's dancing, and he's done it so many times in public. He obviously trying to fit in.
I hate this country, man.
Okay, thank you for waiting. The president has asked me to come out and make a brief statement about the wire that just went out a couple minutes ago. To make things short, I will just confirm that yes, we do have a moon base, and yes, we are currently experiencing some bear problems. Now, I will open it up if there are any questions.
Mr. Press Secretary!
Mr. Press Secretary! Mr. Press Secretary! New York Times.
Yes. I have a 11-part question.
I'm sorry, I only have time for 2.
All right, let me get this straight. So the United States government is admitting that we do have a moon base and that there is a bear problem on said moon base.
Yes, that is correct.
All right, follow-up question. Are you us?
That's a really good question.
No, we are not, and I would like to remind everyone to keep the language civilized. This is the White House.
Excuse me, Mr. Secretary, Bob Daniels, Newsweek.
Mr. Daniels.
How long have we had the moon base? And are these bears Earth bears, or are they from the moon?
I'm sorry, I'm not at liberty to disclose how long we have had this moon base at this time. We do believe these to be Earth bears. We have no reason to believe these to be lunar bears or even Saturn bears.
Todd Albright, PBS. There's Saturn bears?
I am also not at liberty to go into the various types of woodland life forms on Saturn or any of the other 12 planets.
9 planets.
Right. I've said too much already. What I can show you is the images that have been beamed down to us from the Odyssey satellite system just a couple hours ago. This is the view out of the front door of the United States secret moon base. This was taken yesterday before we discovered the bear problem. And this one was taken just a couple hours ago. So, as you can see, bears everywhere.
Mr. Press Secretary! Mr. Press Secretary!
Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, those bears appear to have guns and motorcycles.
We believe they may be involved in some sort of intergalactic drug cartel, perhaps affiliated with one of the interstellar wizard alliances.
Wizard alliances?
Yes, next question.
Just a thought, more of a shot in the dark, but We wouldn't happen to be invading
Venezuela
today, would we?
You got me.
I fell for it. I fell for it. You almost got away with
The Whitest Kid You Know was the most ahead of its time show, period. I don't care. Simpsons and South Park can kiss my ass. Whitest Kid You Know had it lined up. Just like we have the top of the hour ad break happening. If you don't want to see ads, go ahead and subscribe. If you don't want other people to see ads, feel free to give them some stubbies. Otherwise, you can throw biddies my way. But everything you do supports, even if you just watch the ad, because that also supports the channel. But the ad is about to start in like 15 seconds. But yes, Whitest Kid You Know, top tier content. This is from like 2004.
that one.
No, I. Okay, thank you for waiting. The president has asked
I
me
was
to.
hoping they had that took me entirely too long to realize that was a skit. I love them. I remember watching them when they first started uploading to YouTube. My favorite video from them was Race War. I wonder if they have it. But like, I think the main gentleman, I think his name was Trevor. I think he recently passed. And they actually were put on air by, I think, either TLC or TNT. What, TBS maybe? Some channel picked them up and actually gave them like a budget to do stuff. And so absolutely incredible. These guys are heroes in my eyes. And I owe them everything in terms of sense of humor. Going to war with Venezuela. Oh my god. No. My favorite video, Race War, has been retitled Join ICE. Oh my god.
Hey, Bill! Hey, Bill! Bill!
I'm glad they clean up the quality.
Hey, Bill!
Hey, Dave.
Hey! Dave.
Shh.
What's going on? Come on!
Wendy's sleeping.
Come on, man!
What?
Don't wake her up. Come on, let's go!
What?
Race war!
Race war?
Come on, Bill! Race war!
What do you mean?
Didn't we always talk about wanting to do that?
I don't remember that at all.
Come on, Bill! Race war! You can be captain. I'm gonna be sergeant.
No.
Oh, is that Wendy?
Yeah, you woke her up.
Tell her I said hey. Is she still mad at me?
Yeah, she is.
Come on, man, race war. Bring her. No, don't bring her. What is she? What? She's
Italian.
Yeah, don't bring her. Hey, you want to get her?
No.
You like her, that's right.
No.
That's right. Come on, man. Well, don't tell her. She might tell the Italians.
It's the same race.
As what?
Us.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We're American.
Kind of.
What are you?
English.
Ah! That's American. Here's one. Come on, Bill. Let me get that guy. I'll come back. He was in a truck. Couldn't get him.
I love them so much. I'm so glad they started re-uploading these and retitling them. Where's my favorite one? I have a few favorite ones. I have to admit that. Okay, I will say they retitled stuff, so now I don't know how to search for it. But oh look, yeah, here's the "Are we going to war with Iran today?" They just redubbed it. Ah, here it is.
Hi, I'm Trevor Moore. Did you know that it's illegal to say I want to kill the President of the United States of America? It's illegal. It's a federal offense. It's one of the only sentences that you're not allowed to say. Now, it was okay for me to say it right then because I was just telling you that it's illegal to say I want to kill the President of the United States of America. I'm not actually saying it. I'm just letting you know that it's illegal to say that. It's kind of like a public service. I'm letting you know so that you don't accidentally go out and say something like that. But what's interesting is that it's very illegal to say, I really, really think someone out there should kill the President of the United States of America. That's illegal, extremely illegal, very, very illegal, but not illegal to say with a mortar launcher. Because that's its own sentence. It's an incomplete sentence, but it may have nothing to do with the sentence before that. So that's perfectly fine, perfectly legal. I also found out that it's incredibly illegal, extremely illegal, to go on television and say something like the best place to fire a mortar launcher at the White House would be from the roof of the Rockefeller Hewitt building because of minimal security and you'd have a clear line of sight to the president's bedroom. Insanely illegal. Ridiculously, recklessly, insanely illegal. Yet even more illegal to show an illustrated diagram. Insanely illegal. Ridiculously, horribly.
Wait, is there like, do they have the East Wing on here? I guess the East Wing. That's the front. Is this the front? Or is this the front? Maybe this is the front? No, this has got to be the front. Got the balcony. So, northeast. This would be the East Wing.
Insanely illegal. Ridiculously, horribly felonious. Because they will come to your house in the middle of the night and they will lock you up. Extremely against the law. One thing that is technically legal to say is that we have a group that meets Fridays at midnight under the Brooklyn Bridge and the password is Sic Semper Tyrannis.
Incredible. Incredible. Please go subscribe to the Whitest Kids You Know. They're always re-putting out good shit. I love supporting older content creators that didn't do things with minors. Shane Dawson. Sorry. Man. What a day. Are they gonna impeach him yet? Anybody finally said that they are gonna do that? Because all I hear is a bunch of people going, my statement. Maduro bad, but I once heard from a great book. I once read from a great book from a character that everything before the word but is usually horseshit. And boy, does that hit home a lot. When I read some of these congressmen's like tweets, find any. I don't usually like to free scroll Twitter. Oh, okay. We're finally getting multiple Congress members are calling for his impeachment. Because at first it was nobody. I think the first two people to speak out almost immediately at like a reasonable hour, because let's face it, it happened at like 3 a.m. World War, World War II, World War III, World II War, World War Tokyo Drift, World End War, World 7, World 8. I love a Fast and Furious reference. Okay, I'm getting distracted. I can't tell if anything's real sometimes. Like, I'm like, okay, not real life, but like, are these fake tweets? Or are these like newsworthy tweets? And I do always try to apply my, all right, you need 3 sources. You need to see the same thing from 3 different people. 3 trusted people. Cambodia's Justice Department has decided not to pursue election fraud charges against Nicolas Maduro. Wow. I thought he illegally won those. That's weird. Trying to see if I can come across one of the senators. I'm furious with all of them. I hate fucking Cory Booker, man. Nobody hates Cory Booker as much as I do. Period. Really shouldn't have. Yeah, Hakeem Jeffries, like, finally. Social Security and Medicare are earned benefits. Back off. Okay, bro, what about impeaching the president? You posted this today at 10 a.m. Are we already? I don't even want to, like, read this. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to read all that. I'm sorry that happened to you, or congratulations. Statement in connection with Trump administration's military action in Venezuela. Okay, bye. Venezuelan people elected Edmundo Gonzalez to run their country, not Pete Hegseth or Marco Rubio. The American people do not support another expensive foreign war that risks the lives of our men and women. Well, okay, well, first of all, women aren't allowed in the military anymore. And also, I don't think I don't think with Hegseth saying that, like, he wants like the beefiest of the beefiest. You know, he wants that warrior ethos, and he said that means no donut cops. And so, like, I think if we just put on a few pounds, I think you're gonna be okay. I don't think you'll get accepted for draft. All right, like, also that sounds so gay. Hegseth is like, no, you have to be a beef daddy. My country, beef daddy. There's the cost of living crisis in the United States, and healthcare is being reviewed for millions. Well, Trump administration is doing nothing to make your life better. Okay, not even like talking about Venezuela. I hate you. No, we gotta stop memeing about these things. I'm too old for draft. Yeah, but blue isn't. I have that song. Hold on, I gotta play that song. Like, stuck in my head while I'm free scrolling to look for, impeachment comments.
Did you know that it's illegal to say
We should kill the president. Label me a dissident. It's only American to wanna kill the president. Yo, we should kill the president. Label me a dissident. It's only American to wanna kill the president. This is how the world ends. He's killing all of my best friends. I don't think I'll be content. So someone kill the president. I don't wanna believe it, but I think that it bears repeating. We should shoot a billionaire, film it, put it on the air, dragging by his Turkish hair. No one cares. We should shoot a billionaire.
they talk openly about killing us every day, and their campaign ads, budget proposals, executive orders, and their rambling misspelled tweets, they revel in violence. Why shouldn't we?
Oh, hello, filthy, miserable dirt peasants. I can't seem to find my very impressive castle. Maybe you've seen.
We should kill the president. We should kill the president. Yeah, we should kill the president. We should kill
It's so good.
Yeah, we should kill the president. We should kill the president. Yeah, we should kill the president. We should kill the president. We should kill the president. Yeah, we should kill the president. We should kill the president. Yeah, we should kill the president. 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 We should kill the president.
They in the very beginning, I don't know if you noticed, but they sampled the whitest kids you know. It's illegal to say I want to kill the president. That's the opening line in there. There's like a whole disclaimer. I free scrolled for a minute and then it was lagging everything. I don't see anybody being like, "Hey, we need impeachment brought immediately," other than just like average Joes on Twitter. I am seeing a lot of death to America. Definitely still happening. I'm seeing flags burned in Paris and Germany. Good. And I love that, like, what was it? The New York Times got the story ahead of time and, like, didn't publish it, but also made it seem like Venezuela didn't know who attacked and was accusing. Meanwhile, Trump's just, like, straight up and, like, it. Although Maduro is in the same prison as Luigi Mangione. For anybody paying attention. Water ever hit good? Like, you ever just, like, drink water and it's like, wow, I can understand why my body is made up of, like, 75% of it. His feet. Why is Keen still popping up? Although we should see Daily Show. I did miss that the other day. Rip YouTube. Big section about to be chunked out. Oh, maybe I'll watch it. Like after. Maybe they haven't uploaded the channel yet. I thought there was like that was like Jon Stewart. Maybe it was the Iraq war. Do we think Mamdani's gonna let him out? Or can Mamdani issue him a pardon? Is that something mayors can do? Mamdani, you have one job. And that is to be the greatest mayor of all time. A precedent setter. Oh my god, not Betty.
4 days ago,
It is always Zoran Watch here. Zoran Watch day 4. I watched him tour an apartment. Oh my god. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow. What could you imagine, like, you're hanging out, you get a phone call from somebody in like the government that's like, hey, we heard your apartment's shit. We'd like to do something about it. May we come by? And you're like, sure, whatever. And the mayor of New York pulls up to personally inspect your apartment. Wild. Those landlords must be so embarrassed because then they were like publicly showed everywhere.
New mayor entered City Hall here in New York, the first South Asian mayor, Muslim mayor, and youngest mayor in generations.
Your glasses are cute.
Zoran Mamdani. He finds himself at the center of the fallout of Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro's detainment in New York. Mamdani wasted no time in voicing his opposition to the move to President Trump himself. Take a listen.
I called the president and spoke with him directly to register my opposition to this act and to make clear that it was an opposition based on being opposed to a pursuit of regime change, to the violation of federal and international law, and a desire to see that be consistent each and every day.
So I was not that surprised.
Right.
I've seen some people in the city feel surprised that he felt the need to comment on this. I wasn't surprised for a few reasons.
I wasn't surprised. I feel like he would. He speaks out about all kinds of injustices, big or small.
The first is, throughout the campaign, he's made clear that he would not hesitate to share his sort of moral beliefs, his stance on different issues.
Like he straight up said, if Netanyahu sets foot in New York City, I'm arresting him because he's an international criminal. Based.
That they are direct sort of New York City local ones or they're international ones that affect people who live here in New York City. He has not been shy about any of that. But then also, I think the only element of this that may be surprising at all is that on a day when President Trump was incredibly busy, as many people have pointed out, he actually took Zoran Mamdani's phone call.
Right, exactly.
And he ignores people, like journalists who he has good relationships with,
He'll take
sometimes
the
have
phone
to call him 3, 4, 5 times before
Yeah.
he actually picks up the phone. Sounds like he answered for Mamdani, though.
Well, listen, what I appreciate about that particular comment and why I think it was important to kind of discuss a little bit was because it offers a bit of a template for what people are expecting from Democratic leaders, right? And I think what Zohran Mamdani does in that statement is, this is not about Nicolas Maduro or his oppressive regime or his authoritarian practices. This is about international law. This is about American power. This is about regime change. And as the mayor of New York City, a person who doesn't have much say in foreign policy or international law or international relations, as you pointed out, rightfully so, Zohran Mamdani has been very consistent with moral clarity, whether it was about Gaza or whether it's about Venezuela. And so I think what was important about that was because Democrats sometimes struggle.
I did not pre-watch this.
To think about, well, what should I do? What's the political move? How do
Or
I
they wait too long to see, like, what are other people already saying?
Yes, exactly. So what's the political move here? We want to win Venezuelan voters in Florida, but we don't know how to do it. And so the reality of it becomes like once you get bogged down into that kind of political calculation, you sometimes compromise the moral clarity. And I think in this case, what he is rightfully doing is saying, look, There are ways to prioritize the conversation around what has happened in Venezuela. The priority is, does America have jurisdiction? Are we in the business of regime change? Have we learned anything from our past mistakes? Do we care about international law? And when you start putting those things in order, it does not whatsoever dilute Nicolas Maduro's oppression in Venezuela. And you can actually strengthen the argument against Nicolas Maduro if you actually upheld international law, if you actually held world leaders who are indicted by criminal courts internationally to account. If you did that, you'd actually be strengthening the international mechanism to hold people like Nicolas Maduro. And that's why I think his comment was an important comment for Democrats.
Yeah, because if Netanyahu sets foot in New York, it sounds like Zohran Mamdani will arrest him, and I feel like that's really good to point out. Also, I swear I didn't pre-watch this.
To see.
Yeah, and then he pivoted right back to his day-to-day job, which is right now his focus seems to be on sending a signal to landlords here in the city who are harming their tenants that he is looking into them and coming after them. He went right back to that.
To your point, really quickly, how many Democratic leaders do you think Donald Trump would have answered a phone call from yesterday? If they wanted to, yeah, exactly.
I think Trump really likes Mamdani because Mamdani has a nice smile. I think Mamdani has a good, I'm saying yes with my face, but my words are saying what I really want. I think he's got a good, what is it, poker face? But it's just like, instead of like muted and apathetic, it's like smiling. But almost like the smile doesn't like entirely reach his eyes. Oh wow, look how relevant. There's always like some John Oliver piece or some Hassan piece or like Simpsons or South Park that like was just right so early. I'm in the wrong tab. I wish YouTube was easier to navigate. I hate seeing this. This makes me so upset. It just reminds me of like all the footage of like when they dug Saddam out of his like cell, and when they carried him through like torture, and then like when they brought him out to like hung. It was just like it bothers me how similar it looks, and it's like kind of hard to get by. God, that song stuck in my head. The second time this stream. I wonder like how how long this is gonna overshadow the Epstein files again. Like, do we think there's gonna be like some kind of big drop in the next like day or two or week that's like another like in the Epstein files that like lets us know more?
Moving moment by moment out of Venezuela, the de facto leader there has now for the first time appeared on camera, demanding the immediate release of Nicolas Maduro and his wife, calling their capture a kidnapping. Right now, meantime, Maduro, in that image you see him, it was posted by President Trump. He is on his way to the United States to face drug trafficking charges in the Southern District of New York. Meanwhile, the vice president of Venezuela, Maduro's vice president, her name is Delcy Rodriguez. She just spoke. We've got the audio in now. I want to play for you what she just said to Trump.
We demand the immediate release of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, the only president of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
Coming out against Trump. And that is extremely significant, not just because she saw what happened hours ago to the guy on top of her, but also because President Trump, about 2 hours before that video came out, said that Delcy Rodriguez was on board with the U.S. plan. He said that she was willing to do whatever is necessary to, in his words, make Venezuela great again, and that she was doing what he wanted. Here he is.
Who's going to take over? I mean, there is nobody to take over. You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro, and right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn in as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice.
Okay, we'll do whatever you need, she said to Marco Rubio, and that she really doesn't have a choice. And she just said, this is a kidnapping and send him back, and essentially thumbing her nose at Trump. All right, Kevin Liptak joins us live from West Palm Beach, Florida. So the timeline, Kevin, is that Trump said what I just played, and then within 2 hours, we got the statement from...
Like, if there's just, like, one drone strike, man, it would... I feel like a lot of people would celebrate that, you know? Like, I'm not saying do it. I'm not suggesting anybody do anything. I'm just saying, like, if the United States can do it, why can't anybody else? No? Just take, like, something to topple everything, no? Oh my god, Tim's live. We're gonna have to raid into...
Vice President Delcy Rodriguez of Venezuela, which I just played. So now we're awaiting Trump's response to that. What does this actually mean? You are there in Mar-a-Lago with the president. What's the response from him?
Yeah, and I don't think it will be a favorable response from the president. You know, he did sound fairly confident that Rodriguez would be going along with this plan. You know, after that press conference, he gave a phone call to the New York Post, and actually Rodriguez came up in that conversation. He was asked if U.S. troops would be on the ground in Venezuela running that country, and what he said was, quote, "No, if Maduro's vice president, if the vice president does what we want, we won't have to do that." And then he goes on to say, we're prepared. You know, we have a second wave that's much bigger than the first one. And so I do think, you know, now that Rodriguez is coming out and suggesting that she is not, in fact, on board with what the United States is doing down there, the president does seem to be setting up the prospect that the U.S. could go in with a second round of strikes. You know, he alluded to that.
There, I found what I was looking for. Democrats begin to call for Trump's impeachment over Venezuela attacks. Many Democrats have understandably questioned whether impeachment is possible, again, under the current political reality. Representative Maxine Waters said, I am reconsidering that review. Or that view. A handful of Democratic lawmakers are calling for President Trump to be impeached following the surprise weekend attack on Venezuela that resulted in the arrest of the country's president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife. Trump and his administration have lied, consolidated power, and committed war crimes to seize Venezuelan oil and pursue regime change for their imperialist agenda in the Western Hemisphere. They are putting American safety in danger while destabilizing the region to enrich themselves. Representative Delia Ramirez, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher these names, posted on X on Saturday, Trump must be impeached. No. See you later. Thank you. The calls for impeachment come in the wake of Trump's overnight attack on Venezuela's capital, Caracas, over the weekend that left at least 40 people. 40 absolutely innocent people are dead. I don't know anybody who's talking about that. Maduro and his wife are expecting. This all seems like a look over here, not over here moment to cover up the files. Yeah, a lot of people are comparing it to Wag the Dog, which I've never seen, but their summary is basically like, oh, the president is diddling kids and people are getting ready to expose him, so he starts a war in another country as a distraction. It's like, it's both. It's absolutely both. It can be both a distraction and a war crime. And I'm not saying you're not saying that. I'm just like, um, it's like the El Dorado meme where it's like both. Maduro and his wife are expected to appear in New York federal court earlier this week on 4 counts of narco terrorism, corruption, and illegal possession of automatic firearms. In the meantime, the state of Venezuela's political future remains unclear as Trump's statement that the U.S. would be running the country was seemingly contradicted Sunday by the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who said the U.S. would not have direct control, but instead would use its military to create leverage over the current Venezuelan government until its set of demands is met. Oh my God, they're telling us everything. They're like, yeah, no, we're gonna use the military to do a coup, so we can install our puppet. Like, they're literally like that. They just said it. Like, Rubio called it running policy. Other Democratic lawmakers echoed Ramirez's push for impeachment throughout the weekend. Today, many Democrats have understandably questioned whether impeachment is possible again under the current political reality. Representative Maxine Waters told Axios, I am reconsidering that view. Representative Jaron Huffman told Axios, Andrew Solder, we are in 25th Amendment territory now, referring to the constitutional amendment that allows Congress to remove the president. This violation of the United States Constitution is an impeachable offense, Representative Dan Goldman added. Okay, but that's not saying you're going to impeach him. Illinois congressional candidate Kate Abubuzela. Oh, shout out Kate. I love her. She's running for, what is it, Chicago's 4th district? A Gen Z content creator running to fill the retiring seat of Jan Schakowsky's seat was among the first candidates to issue a statement on Trump's attack in Venezuela, which was followed by a series of similar statements from other candidates. I demand that Congress exercise its power to halt this conflict and impeach this war's criminal president, Abubuzela posted on Blue Sky on Saturday night. Oh, she'd be a representative if she won her seat. That's really good. She is so cool. She is so based. She donate so at her like campaign location, they do like donations, like they give out like pads, they do like knitting events in front of ICE facilities. Like she is so based. Where was I? In Saturday's press conference, Representative Eric Swalwell also said that he was not ruling out impeachment, saying that all options are on the table. What this president has done is the shortcuts that he has taken is going he's going to one shortcut at a time put us in a fascist cul-de-sac. Falwell said, wow, I am struggle bussing. That's where he'd taken us. That's the objection. It's not a process objection. It's an objection for the way they are fashionistic in such a fashionistic way. Oh my God, that was painful. I'm so sorry you had to listen. So it seems like they are kind of calling it. House candidates. I think they should do it. I think they should do it. I think they should do it because you know what? Okay, you don't have the votes. Let's see who didn't vote. Okay? And now they're the new political ad. That is like, especially this early into the 2026. Sorry, I turned my fireplace up. This early into the 2026 midterm race to the midterms, having a list of people we know to run against and figuring out who would be best to go against them, in, like, if the DSA wanted to throw a candidate in there, if the Working Families Party wanted to throw somebody in there, finding the right candidate for the right location. People want impeachment. 60% of this country does not like Trump. I wonder what the poll numbers are. Have we seen Harry Enton in a while? Uh, three, uh, 350 days into Donald Trump's term, the president's net worth approval rating is minus 17 points, up 0.8 points since last week. 39 approval, 56 disapprove, not sure 4%. More than half of this country disapproves of this man. He is not popular anymore. If he were to run, he would lose. If he were to run right now, he would lose. And look, it went up. Oh my God, it's just, oh, what do they have on here? Biden, Trump first term. So it looks like Trump first term went back up around COVID time. Or no, this is now. Yeah, Trump first term went up, but then started to curve down around this time. This time frame, not now. But right, it's just like, look, where did they give a date? Trump second? I don't. March 23rd. I don't know what that date was, but no, April 2nd was his liberation day with the tariffs, and then it just woo, free fall. And it went down to -9%. And then it goes up a little, and then it goes woo. It's like this looks like a fun amusement park ride, And then look, right here, it looks like it's the lowest. -18%. Donald Trump's approval rating reflects his roller coaster year. He's been he re-entered the Oval Office in January with a net approval of 2. But then it began a bumpy ride down to -18 in early December. And then it climbed up for a couple of weeks, and just as it was gaining height, it plunged to -17 in the days before Christmas, where it remains. One cause of Mr. Trump's unpopularity is the president's handling of the economy. On the campaign trail last year, he claimed that it went to hell under his predecessor, Joe Biden, and promised to make America affordable again. Voters believed him, and when he returned to his power, his approval rating on jobs and the economy was 12. Yet unemployment has risen this year, and prices remain stubbornly high. And Americans worry that Mr. Trump's tariffs and healthcare spending policies cost them. The president's economic approval rating is at -17. Now, Mr. Trump was reelected on a wave of economic pessimism, telling voters that incomes will skyrocket, inflation will vanish completely, jobs will come roaring back, and the middle class will prosper like never, ever before. During his second term, so far, they have been disappointed. Ratings of his handling of the economy and inflation were net positive shortly before his inauguration. They have since fallen 2 strongly negative in the wake of his declarations of trade wars and ensuing response to investors. YouGov data suggests that Americans now disapprove of his handling of immigration, another issue central to his re-election. True. It tells you by state. Negative 23 points in New Jersey. Maryland, oh my God, it's insane. 41%. DC, oh my God. He has a net approval rating in DC of 78%. New Mexico, 33. 26 in California. Colorado, 29. Hawaii, 40. Oh my God. DC and Maryland are the worst. You can tell because California still has a black CA, whereas Maryland's a white MD. Using YouGov data, The Economist has projected Mr. Trump's approval rating state by state. As you might expect, approval of Mr. Trump is lowest in states that tend to vote for Democrats and highest in those that tend to vote for Republican. Yeah, but like 2.3 point rookie number. Mr. Trump's voters still overwhelmingly approve of his performance as president, but the projection also shows how dissatisfied with Mr. Trump is widespread, even in states that voted for him just a few months ago. The numbers will make anxious readings for Republicans facing competitive races in next year's midterm elections. That's this year now. Oh my God. Like, nothing is above the approve line. Trump's net approval rating by demographic percentage point. I mean, male is higher than female. Male is closer to 0, but it's still negative. I love that 30 to 34 and under 30. Like, look, under 30. And then black is down here at almost 80% versus like white that's up here at like 1%. High school or less, of course. Some college grad, post grad, yeah. As with other Republican politicians before him, white and male voters are among the most likely to approve of Mr. Trump's job performance, while younger voters and members of ethnic minorities are among the most strongly disapproving. People who have the most education, college graduates and postgrads, are least likely to support Mr. Trump. Voters in pension age, normally a solid Republican bloc, are also surprisingly warm to the president. Yeah, let me go back up to that. 65 and up is almost on par with millennials. So like 65 and up is like whatever was before Gen X, right? And then 30 or 45, 65 is like just getting into Gen X, like the very, very tail end of Gen X to the very wide end of Gen X, oldest Gen X. And then right here, 30 to 44 is like millennials and like older Gen Z. And then under 30 is like Gen Z, Gen Alpha. So like Gen Xers are more likely to approve, where people who are like retired are more likely to disapprove. Interesting. I love these polls. What is the most important issue? Okay, so 23% of Democrats say inflation important. Some political issues disproportionately concern political partisans. Immigration is a key issue for Mr. Trump's Republican base, as are taxes and government spending. Democrats are more worried about health care and climate change. I don't know. I haven't heard a single Democrat talk about climate change. Okay. Like at all. Maybe AOC and Bernie and maybe Elizabeth Warren. The chart above, it hasn't been a main talking point in politics in a while in the US. The chart above shows the most important issues among American adults and members of each party. Important issue is the economy, with 40% or 41% of people polled 2025 said the economy. Healthcare is at 12%. Back in at 2020, oh yeah, 2020, 8%. Civil rights at 10%. Immigration at 7%. National security, climate change, crime, abortion, guns, education. Yeah, economy's at 41%. Marx mentioned. Karl Marx said that men make their own history, but they do not make it as they please. That goes for Mr. Trump as much as for anyone else. Public opinion on Mr. Trump's first term came to be dominated by concern about health care, especially after the outbreak of COVID-19. The economic effects of the pandemic, sorry, my eyes are moving faster than my mouth, and Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2020 made inflation a defining issue of Mr. Biden's presidency. The chart above shows which issues have been the most important to American adults since 2017 based on weekly survey data from YouGov. That's it. Yeah, people hate him. Approve or disapprove of Donald Trump. 54% as of January 4th disapprove to 41% approve. Yeah, it's in freaking toy. And it's only going to get worse. You're more likely to win an election at this point if you vote to impeach him. That's like where I'm seeing.
All right, sit down. And if you're sitting, lay down. If you're laying, stand.
This is Endeavorance. He's a TikTok creator that is now also kind of moved to YouTube, where he posts like news things and cute pictures of his dog in the community tab. I highly recommend him. He's great. And a ginger that knows how to use a crowbar. My favorite.
Stand up. Pay attention. Hey, my country just invaded another country. Again, it's cool because if I don't pay my taxes, they'll throw me in jail or kill me. So that's fun. That's fun and great. Now I'm gonna get this out up front. At no point in this video will I be defending Maduro. No one's doing that. This video is sort of just a look at what the hell is happening and how.
I love this guy. Yeah, he's great. I found him on TikTok and I followed him over to YouTube. He's wonderful. And his dog is so cute.
Reality just is. A couple of nights ago, I woke up in the middle of the night, as I usually do. I've got trouble sleeping. And I checked my phone, and that was a mistake. Because, oh, we just took another country.
I'm so mad. I couldn't sleep Friday night into Saturday. And I was just like, I'm not going to go on my phone. I'm going to try to lay here and go to sleep. And I went to bed around 4 in the morning. And I get up at like 9 and I'm like, oh my God, we invaded Venezuela and we captured Maduro. No, thank you. It's too early for this.
Leader out of it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, somehow the United States of America has conducted an operation in Venezuela that extracted Maduro, their leader. I think the terms that most people seem to be coalescing around are either kidnapping or arresting, depending on your view of the role of the United States on the
Kidnapping. Kidnapping. I don't understand how they're able to just like arrest somebody from a foreign country while they're in a foreign country. Like arrest a national to a foreign country on charges like from the home country. I didn't realize we could do that. Arrest anyone with and put charges on them around the world. Like I can't believe the fucking Europeans aren't doing anything.
the global stage. Everything I'm about to talk about
Wouldn't be
is all
surprised.
true at the same time. Please hold that close, because this is a situation, like every situation, that does not have a clear-cut one way to look at it. And it certainly is not an example of good guy versus bad guy, and I'll touch more on that later. First thing, we are almost definitely looking at the start of another Iraq or Afghanistan situation.
Agreed.
The US just invaded and bombed another country and took their leader out, and now don't really seem to have a plan. The day after the operation, Trump went on TV and said that the United States would run Venezuela until such a time comes that they can get the new government together.
Which is, it sounds like what they're doing in Gaza, right? Like almost like copy paste.
Which is exactly what happened in Iraq. Now, are there key differences between that and this? Yes, of course. And also, there's key differences between everything and everything. But this is just straight up CIA playbook shit. They've already detailed the CIA's operations in this. You can just go read about it. Like, Reuters published a whole report about the inside of this operation and how the CIA was involved. They're experts at this. This playbook is what they do. They're like, hey, here's a place that's bad, right? Look how unhappy the citizens are. They've got a leader that's a dictator.
Look how much oil they have.
And they're bad. We're gonna be the heroes. When they frame it that way, it gives them the option to call anyone who opposes that a supporter of that violent dictator. Oh, you don't like what the US just did? You must want the Venezuelan people to suffer, right? Like that reductive approach, it works because there's just like a lot of people who won't think past that. That's what we need to do here. That's what we're doing right now. Anyway, yeah, the reasoning for why we did this is not there. It was originally ostensibly, according to the government, because drugs. We've been bombing drug boats in the Caribbean, in the Pacific. We've killed over 100 people through those operations. And now it's not about that, I guess. I mean, it kind of is, sort of. Like, the US government has charged Maduro and his wife with charges about drug stuff. Okay, apparently that means we can now just yoink world leaders.
Yeah, can someone, like, since it's been internationally established that this is just, like, okay, can we, like, and, like, what, can, like, Putin. Although I did see Zelensky was like, well, if he can grab that dictator, why can't he grab Putin next?
Which, I want to be clear, I'm not going to make the argument that this was illegal. Everything this administration does is illegal. So we go in on basically no real pretense. Like the drug story was shitty at best and no one was really paying attention. And then there was the oil thing. We've been blockading with oil, and then turns out, oh yeah, it was about the oil. We're going to get oil companies up in there. And the plan now is run Venezuela until the oil companies can get in and rebuild their infrastructure to better benefit the Venezuelan people. But that means that, like, US oil companies are supposed to come in and build up Venezuela?
Yeah.
Just out of the goodness of their hearts? It's not about liberating Venezuela. And we'll get to more on that, but I want to get to the second main point here, which is that it's perfectly okay for Venezuelan people to be elated about this. I am not Venezuelan. I only know a handful of folks who are Venezuelan, like
I'm indifferent.
first generation. I know the situation there has been very bad. Very, 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 very bad. Maduro and his regime have been worsening conditions for everyone in Venezuela except for their buddies for a very long time now. Venezuela sits atop massive oil reserves, and essentially his regime has just been taking that money and enriching themselves while doing just enough to prevent a full-on revolt. But this has caused a surge of refugees out of Venezuela, And it's genuinely awful. It makes complete sense that the guy is...
And then they come here and all we do is like belittle them, mock them, arrest them, and send them back.
Gone, and people are now happy. That relief, that celebration, that is valid, and it's not diminished by the other details of this situation. It is, again, one whole part of a extremely multifaceted situation. Now, I will say, the rhetoric of Venezuelans are happy, so you can't be against this, is bullshit. That's nothing. Venezuelans are happy, so you can't be against this, just takes the entire lives of Venezuelan people and turns that into a moral cudgel that doesn't even really make sense. You can't take your own interpretation of
Ad's about to start. If you don't want to see the ad, subscribe. If you don't want somebody else to see the ad, feel free to gift a sub. Please support the channel, drop a follow, ring that notification bell, ding that dong. I don't know. It's like I also upload these on YouTube, so I'm like, whatever. Anyway, here's the ad.
all of their emotions of a person whose life you're not living, and use that to tell someone else that they're wrong because of those emotions. Especially when, again, there's just like so many different angles here. There are some things that are wrong, there are some things that are very wrong, and there's some things that are just confusing as hell. And it also makes total sense that there's a lot of confusion, especially among Venezuelan populations. From what I can tell, and I will not speak for them, from what I can tell, it seems to be a pretty healthy mix of elation about Maduro getting comeuppance and concern about what comes next. I'm not going to say how they should feel because there's a lot of emotions already. I don't think we need more prescriptions. But let's go on to, again, Maduro being bad doesn't make it just universally okay. Maduro is bad. There are many other bad world leaders. Some are far worse. This is
not the king of Flavor Town.
That is not an argument for doing what we did. So you've got a whole world filled with shitty leaders that could just be plucked out of their countries. Yeah, okay, how do we pick who we do that to? Because we've got Maduro, who's bad because drugs, but Honduras just saw their leader get pardoned for drug crimes by Donald Trump also. So like, it's obviously not about that, and it's obviously about the oil, and it's more specifically obviously about international trade in oil markets. The entirety of the US dollar's stability is essentially baked in to oil. Venezuela has some of the largest proven oil reserves in the world, and we're working exclusively with Russia, China, and other BRICS nations. BRICS is a trade group that's essentially trying to do trade without having to deal with the dollar. They're trying to go around the US in global trade. That threatens the US dollar's stability because the US holds its position in the world essentially by not being able to go around them for trade because of how synonymous the dollar is with oil. So this move was really just a strategic geopolitical move to get a hold of more oil reserves to block out BRICS nations from having a relatively easy channel that was a thorn in the US's side. That's why you'll see people refer to Russia and China as a part of this, because they were major buyers of oil from Venezuela. And then beyond oil, it's just like Marco Rubio's wet dream to conquer Venezuela, and more specifically Cuba. There are just people in the Trump administration that just want to do regime change for funsies.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's their...
I really do feel like it's gonna fall apart like the Horus Heresy. Like it's just gonna kind of cave in on itself.
Hobby. So here is the situation. There are no good guys. A good thing happened for a bunch of people as a side effect of a bunch of pieces of shit trying to move pieces around a board. They basically just like took some of that shit and scraped it away. And now people can be like, yay, I don't have to deal with that piece of shit anymore. But there's still pieces of shit moving in every other direction. I'm gonna move on from shit chess as a metaphor. The point I'm trying to make here is push back strongly on anyone who tries to take this situation and just boil it down to one little point and try to get you with that. During my lifetime, most of the live conflict that's like this has been happening in West Asia, but now it's happening in South America. And it's been a while. We used to do it a lot there, like a lot. But it's been since, like, I don't know, Panama, like 1989, since there was a major thing, like this hot of an operation. So the US is essentially returning to form of like pre-Cold War territorial control. That's the only thing I can really surmise from this. And I don't like that. That's not my politics. And so you can be against what the US just did and also not like Maduro and think he's a piece of shit and be happy that he's gone and be happy for the people of Venezuela while also being
unrelated, but I've been sipping this tea, as you can see. And I was like, I wonder how much of this is left so I can lower the tea bag. Well, I open it and only like this much is gone. And I'm like, dang. I did not realize how much I made.
being concerned about what comes next because we're essentially watching as this administration just does this thing with no real plan. At this point, there's just nothing about what comes next. There's nothing to draw upon here to be like, oh yeah, here's the plan as laid out by anyone. The White House is being vague, but also specific about oil, but also vague about everything else. They're just making random claims like a foreign invasion and occupation of a nation won't cost us money because oil. While also like implied in that is like, oh, we have a right to extract their oil, which like they try to spin this story about how Venezuela used to be good with the US with oil and then they stopped doing that. And so they owe us, which is absurd. Long story short, we in this. This is just happening now. Personally, I hope that the outcome is that everything goes great and the Venezuelan government decides to dissolve itself and hold new elections and the US fucks off. And it's just like, good job, y'all. And now we're going to establish like reciprocal trade stuff. I don't think that's gonna happen. Reciprocal? What did I just say? Whatever. But for now, all we can do is kind of like see what the fuck happens while demanding that our leaders fucking.
It's like I was watching Hassan yesterday because I obviously wasn't live. And I was just like, nothing's happening. We're just gonna kind of sit here and kind of wait for the next steps. Although the only thing that's happening is that laws are and like constitutions and charters, like and conventions are all getting absolutely shitted all over. And it's like, but we can't really know anything until some more stuff starts happening. And there hasn't been another Epstein drop, so I'm sure things will be quiet for a little while. And by a little while, I mean like, okay, so it's Sunday, probably like Thursday. We'll see something.
Anything ever. But I'm not gonna hold my breath on that front personally. Thanks for bearing with me through that. I kind of meandered through everything, but that's just sort of the download I can do right now. Everything is madness at this time. Because of this video, there's not gonna be a normal stuff keeps happening tomorrow, but I hope that's acceptable. Thanks for listening. I'm on various socials. I have merch store. I have a Patreon. Your support helps a lot.
Go subscribe.
I hope this isn't going to be a thing for very long.
Chat. Man, what a time to be alive. And I didn't ask for any of this. New Oh shit. The attack left people like stranded in the Caribbean because of like the fly zone and stuff. Wow.
The ripple effects are just beginning after the U.S. capture of a disgraced international leader. Former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is here in New York City to face federal charges related to drug trafficking and working with terrorist organizations. He has denied all wrongdoing. Maduro and his wife were both taken into custody Saturday after the U.S. Army's Delta Force, an elite special forces unit, carried out a military operation in Caracas. President Trump says the U.S. will run Venezuela temporarily as the country's Supreme Court directs Vice President Delcy Rodriguez to assume the duties of acting president. However, when asked on Face the Nation about a potential plan for U.S. occupation of Venezuela, State Secretary Marco Rubio said President Trump is keeping all options open.
He does not feel like he is going to publicly, rule out options that are available for the United States, even though that's not what you're seeing right now. What you're seeing right now is an oil quarantine that allows us to exert tremendous leverage over what happens next.
CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand joins us now from Florida, where President Donald Trump is this afternoon. What is the administration's plan here, Natalie, especially long term? I mean, is this a one and done, or is it a nation-building exercise?
Why do they sound like they're just given permission to they're like, yeah, are we just gonna do it? Like, are we allowed to just start building things? It's just wild to me how nonchalant they're being.
Just a lot right now that we don't know about the exact plan or specifics about how this will work or the time frame of how long the Trump administration will be involved in temporarily running Venezuela, as the president revealed in that news conference yesterday. He mentioned that his national security team will be involved. That includes Secretary of State, National Security Advisor Marco Rubio. And again, he didn't seem to rule out the possibility of boots on the ground during his news conference. But as you heard when pressed this morning on Face the Nation, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, he talked about helping to rebuild the oil industry, sanctions pressure, which we've seen already from the Trump administration's blockade on sanctioned oil tankers leaving Venezuela. He mentioned stopping drug trafficking. Then when Margaret Brennan tried to clarify that there's no plan for U.S. occupation, he said the president always retains optionality on these matters. Now, Democratic critics in
Axios. Furious Dems float retaliation for Trump's insane Venezuela attacks. Amid Dems' fury over the Trump I don't feel like it's been fury. I feel like it's been strongly worded letters and my statements on. Like it's a fucking YouTuber apology video. Amid Democrats' fury over Trump administration's unilateral strike on Venezuela, capture of President Nicolas Maduro, some lawmakers went so far as to call for President Trump's removal of office. Why it matters, the Venezuela strike has escalated already boiling tensions between Trump and congressional Democrats who are furious about Congress being left in the dark. Yeah, they're more upset about not knowing than they are that he like, hey Liz, been a minute, how are you? I had absolutely no briefing or heads up. House Foreign Affairs Committee ranking member Greg Meeks, Democrat, New York, fumed to Axios. I have received all information from the news media at this point. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat, New York, and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, fuck you, in a joint statement demanded briefings for the members early next week. They're not going to do that. Driving the news. The U.S. forces extradited. I'm doing good. Messed my knee up on New Year's Day. Oh, I hope you're resting and taking care of it. Remember, hot, cold, elevation, stretching. Slow stretching. In an operation early Saturday morning that involved airstrikes on several military sites in Venezuela's capital, Caracas. The Venezuelan president and first lady are facing federal drug and firearms charges, soon face the full wrath of American justice on American soil and American courts, said the Attorney General Pam Bondi. Trump said in a Saturday morning press conference that the U.S. is going to run Venezuela until proper transition can take place. I've been elevating it, and I don't have a knee wrap yet, and I don't really have ice to put on it. I'm not very good with crutches. I recommend taking some rice and putting it in a sock, and then taking that sock and putting it in another sock, and then heating that in the microwave, or putting that in the freezer when you need it. Oh, my bones. Said the U.S. will also spend billions rebuilding. Why are we spending billions rebuilding Venezuela and not America? Can someone explain that to me? He said the U.S. will also spend billions rebuilding the country's dilapidated oil infrastructure and that we're not afraid of boots on the ground. What they're saying. While Democrat leaders largely channel their outrage into demands for information, some lawmakers went further in their condemnation. Trump must be impeached, said Elia Ramirez. Where is Blue? He was in here earlier. He might be getting food. That's usually when he's most quiet. In his statement, also calling for the passage of legislation to rein in executive power, war powers, and congressional control over the process. Representative Jared Huffman, Dem California, called Trump's plan to run Venezuela truly insane and a disaster, referring to a constitutional mechanism that allows the cabinet to remove a president. Told Axios, we are in 25th Amendment territory now. The president has lost his mind. Representative Gil DeSanero, Democratic California, told Axios in a text message. Zoom out. While Democrats spent 2025 largely dismissing rogue efforts to impeach Trump. Yes. What was it? Al Green is every month is bringing up impeachment. The idea gradually gained momentum with the party amid grassroots demands that lawmakers adopt more brute force tactics. Look at that. Look at this, guys. Guys, this is the most important part. Us annoying them is making them adopt our policy. The more we irritate them and annoy them and we're loud and we demand all together at the same time, okay, we want more brute force tactics. The more wine moms and weed milfs we get on our side and get complaining in every way possible, send faxes. Let's go, man. The Venezuela operations appeared. See, when I have to go back to this, I'm sorry. When people say oh, we don't have any power as Americans, it's no, we do. We just don't want to get out of the house. And maybe because it's all oh, it's cold. I don't want to protest while it's cold. But not even protest. We need to we need to be outside of I guess it is protest. Never mind. But yeah, everyone needs to get off their butts and get out there and, make our demands clear. We want affordability. We want to be able to live. We want, be able to make sure our future is good and our food is affordable. Not war with a foreign country. I want healthcare. Not bombing schools. Yeah, we definitely do have power. Some of us, me, I keep to myself mainly because I feel no matter what I say, nobody wants to hear it. That's pretty much how it is with the presidency and everything. People try to reach out and inform them on things and they just do their own thing. They don't really listen to anybody. Yep, that's not true because look, this is saying that right here. It says, while Democrats spent 2025 largely dismissing rogue efforts to impeach Trump, the idea has gradually gained momentum within the party amid grassroots demands that lawmakers adopt more brute force tactics. It is working. Don't give up. Because it is working. I didn't send 400 pages of faxes to Cory Booker so we could give up on being annoying. The Venezuela operation appeared to add even more fuel to those statements. Today, many Democrats have understandably questioned whether impeachment is possible again under the current political reality. If they don't listen, keep saying it, yep. If they bring articles of impeachment up and we see who votes no, we do it again. We do it again until it keeps going, until these people realize they're going to lose their seats. Because I guarantee you, you do it the first time and there's a huge public vote around it and it's on C-SPAN and stuff, we're going to get names. And then the second time it comes up, those lawmakers will be pressured. Thank God something needs to be done. Broken records do get heard. They do. People still listen to scratched records. Again, under the current political reality, said Maxine Waters, D, California, I am reconsidering that view. Representative Dan Goldman, D. New York, said in a statement, this violation of the United States Constitution is an impeachable offense. Okay, that's not really, again, that's not really calling for his impeachment. You're just saying it's impeachable. Intrigue. It's not just Dems calling out the move. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey, both right-wing opponents of interventionist foreign policy, expressed skepticism of the administration's actions in social media posts. Representative Brian Fitzpatrick is centrist in a statement. The only country that the United States of America should be running is the United States of America. I would really appreciate if they could bring articles of impeachment before Marjorie Taylor Greene leaves. Hey, I'll just hear a moment, but still keep saying it because many people who agree but are scared to talk just need to hear it before they start saying it too. And then it gets louder. It's true. A lot of people in this community have found their voice. I found my voice by hearing other people tell me being annoying is the best. I would love articles of impeachment before Marjorie Taylor Greene is gone. Like, that would be cool. The other side, House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune said that they were working with the administration to schedule briefings for members of Congress. The House Armed Services Committee will receive a full committee briefing next week, a GOP committee source told Axios. Axios' Kate Santaliz. Republicans largely, I'm still trying to find my voice, but I think I'm getting there. A lot of people that I follow on Twitch, like you, and I have a few other friends that I follow, they've definitely voiced their opinions and said that they know I can do it. So I'm definitely working on that. It takes everybody, or it takes time for everybody to find their own voice. It takes everybody, it takes time to find who you are and how you want to be and like how you want to go. I was, I'll admit I'm scared sometimes, but then I remember that I don't know, I want to leave this world better than I found it, so I can't let this end yet. Like, I have to do something about it. And even if that means being shrill and obnoxious and a bitch and like not the greatest, then that's fine. I'll take that because my morals are more important than your opinions of me. Not you, Liz, of me. I'm just saying, like, generalization. Republicans largely applauded the attack, with Johnson calling it a decisive and justified operation that will protect American lives. A handful of Democrats also focused on celebrating Maduro's ouster rather than condemning the administration, with Representative Henry Seller from Texas telling Axios that it's an important moment for democracy, peace, and the future of exactly. I completely agree. Oh, good. You're good, hun. Thanks. Sometimes I have to remind myself that I'm speaking generally because I'm like, oh, I don't want anybody to take like direct offense to the future. Blah, 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 blah. It's an important moment for democracy, peace, and the future of children across Latin America and the United States. Between the lines. While political sanctions against Trump are highly unlikely, congressional opponents of further action in Venezuela do have some mechanism to restrain the administration. Senator Tim Kaine, Virginia, what a fucking loser guy, said in his statement that his bipartisan Venezuela war powers resolution will come up for a vote in the Senate early next week. Congress is also negotiating government spending ahead of the January 30th federal funding deadline, giving lawmakers an opportunity to block funds for the intervention of Venezuela. And how about like our health care? Can we talk about that? Man. But I don't want us to forget about the Epstein files. Because those are still like a thing. I guarantee you we'll hear something. There's always something going on a weekend. They love sending the media into a tizzy on the weekend. And all of us, because then we spiral out for the whole weekend. It's like when your boss like send you an email at like 4:30 on Friday to get something done by Monday, and then they don't answer their phone or text you or message you back?
Back to our breaking news and the new threat today from President Trump against Delcy Rodriguez, Venezuela's interim leader. He told The Atlantic magazine, quote, if she doesn't do what's right, she's going to pay a very big price, probably bigger than Maduro. And his comments come in spite of his previous positions on U.S. intervention in foreign countries.
You're tired of the reckless foreign policy, the crazy wars that are never won. We will abandon the policy of reckless regime change. Stupid people that have been running this operation for 30, 40 years, and they come out against me, and all they did is stick us in these endless wars. We're pulling, finally, these endless wars. And we had to fight other things. When I'm back in the White House, we will expel the warmongers, the profiteers, and take over our government. And we will restore world peace.
Well, joining me now, journalist Michael Scherer, author of that Atlantic article. Michael, welcome to the show. First of all, how'd you land the interview with the president?
He's going to say, like, yes, Greenland's on the table. And it's like, yes, we know. Because crude oil. Canada has crude oil. Ooh, conflicts to watch in 2026? One day ago. Let's see if they predicted Maduro. Unless it already
One of the
happened.
most depressing global trends in recent years has been the persistent increase in the number of ongoing armed conflicts. With growing disregard for international law and human rights, an enormous spike in drone warfare, and now the emergence of military AI, 2026 is likely to see a continuation of this trend, leading to the deaths of tens of thousands more civilians. So, in this video, we'll take you through some of the world's ongoing and emerging conflicts, and how they might develop throughout 2026. Who is the most influential person in the world? Well, last year, the TLDR audience ranked Donald Trump as number 1, with these people all landing in the top 10. But do you agree? Click the link in the description to cast your vote for our 2026 ranking. The first and most recently inflamed conflict is between Thailand and Cambodia. In early December, clashes broke out between Thai and Cambodian troops on the disputed border of Preah Vihear province, one of several contested sites along the two countries' shared 800-kilometre border. The Thai military claimed that Cambodian soldiers had opened fire on a Thai engineering team repairing a road in Thailand's Sisaket province, while Cambodian authorities accused Thai soldiers of engaging in numerous provocative actions for many days. In the following days, at least 500,000 people fled the area, as airstrikes and gunfire continued, killing 23 people. This recent escalation continued a series of clashes throughout 2025. In May, a Cambodian soldier was killed by gunfire in the same border region, and in July a multi-day clash erupted, prompting Malaysia, the head of ASEAN, and the US to broker a ceasefire, with an expanded peace agreement signed in October in the presence of US President Donald Trump. Political tensions have also risen between the two countries, after a leaked phone call earlier this year between former Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra and Cambodia's longtime former leader Hun Sen revealed Shinawatra praising him while condemning her own Thai military commanders. This scandal brought down Paetongtarn's government and increased anti-Cambodian sentiment in Thailand, with a majority of the Thai public now believing Thailand shouldn't be associated with Cambodia. Thailand's new Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul has also taken a hard line on Cambodia and has ruled out any immediate negotiations, suggesting this conflict could potentially flare up again in 2026. The next conflict to keep an eye on is the US's military build-up around Venezuela. Since late August, the US has deployed 15,000 troops and a dozen warships, as well as aircraft carriers, guided missile destroyers and helicopters, to the southern Caribbean near the Venezuelan coast, while simultaneously building up the US military presence on Puerto Rico and the US Virgin Islands. The US has claimed that this is about combating drug trafficking from Venezuela into the US, but it's pretty clear that they also want to pressure Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro out of power. Since September, the US has launched more than 20 strikes on alleged drug trafficking boats in international waters, killing at least 83 people. The most controversial of these took place on the 2nd of September, when US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth reportedly ordered a double-tap strike to kill survivors of an initial strike, which is broadly considered illegal under international law as an act of extrajudicial killing.
What is international law? Because I have never seen it enforced in my lifetime.
Trump has also repeatedly hinted at US strikes on Venezuelan territory in the near future, saying it's going to be starting on land pretty soon. Moreover, in early December, the US military seized an oil tanker off the Venezuelan coast, an act the Venezuelan government described as blatant theft and international piracy, and imposed sanctions on 6 more ships said to be carrying oil. Venezuela accuses the US of wanting to gain control of the country's enormous oil reserves, the largest in the world. Given the continued build-up, tensions look likely to continue.
Next to Canada and Iran. Canada, Iran, get nukes immediately.
Into 20.
You don't have nukes, get nukes. If they tell you to give them the nukes, don't give them the nukes. If they accuse you of having nukes, immediately get nukes.
2026, with direct military confrontation a real possibility. Moving to Europe now, where Russia's hybrid war has escalated in recent months, with analysts expecting further Russian sabotage attacks and subversion in 2026. For context, in September, Russian drones flew into Polish and Romanian airspace. Russian fighter jets flew into Estonian airspace, and suspected Russian drones were spotted near airports or military facilities in Denmark, France, Germany, Norway, and Belgium. In November, a Russian spy ship called the Yantar was suspected of mapping undersea cables between the UK and Norway, and had shone lasers at RAF pilots tracking it from above, prompting the two countries to announce a new joint submarine hunting alliance in December. Meanwhile, in Ukraine, Russia has ramped up its drone attacks on Ukrainian civilian and energy infrastructure since the summer, and Ukraine has also increased its own attacks on Russian oil facilities, including striking a target in the Caspian Sea for the first time this month. At the same time, the US's unequivocal turn away from Europe, marked by the Trump administration's recent national security strategy, which was well received in Russia, has renewed Europe's focus on defence readiness and deterrence. France and Germany have both recently announced new military service schemes, and the UK Armed Forces Minister also said this month that the UK was rapidly developing plans to prepare the country for war. Moreover, NATO chief Mark Rutte controversially said earlier this month that Europe should prepare for, quote, the scale of war our grandparents and great-grandparents endured. While a direct Russia-Europe conflict still seems a distant prospect, there has been a notable shift in rhetoric from European government officials in recent months, seemingly aimed at preparing their populations for war. The US also wants Europe to replace its role in NATO by 2027. Unless a peace deal can somehow be negotiated in the coming months, which feels unlikely given the clear gap between the Russian and Ukrainian positions, the Ukraine war looks likely to continue for the foreseeable future, with Europe taking more of the strain. In February, the Russia-Ukraine war will enter its 5th year, and, as The Economist notes, on June 10th, the fighting will have lasted longer than the First World War. Let's move to West Africa now, where, for the past few years, jihadist insurgencies have escalated across several countries in the Sahel region, like Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, as well as spreading to coastal nations like Côte d'Ivoire and Nigeria. Current trends suggest that, in 2026, militant activity will expand further along the southern borders of the Sahel countries into Benin, Togo, Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire. In the first 11 months of 2025, Benin saw 70% more fatalities compared to the same period in 2024, and jihadist attacks on security forces in western Mali, as well as kidnappings of foreign workers in Mali and Niger, have also surged to record highs in 2025. Conflict analysis suggests that 2026 will see a further consolidation of a new front line in the Benin, Niger and Nigeria borderlands, which is gradually becoming an area of competition for various militant groups, including Islamic State's West African factions. This is a serious crisis that probably doesn't receive as much media coverage as it should. Persistent instability has stunted the economic development of one of the poorest regions in the world, undermined state institutions, and created a transnational refugee crisis. Moreover, since the US cut foreign aid in early 2025, humanitarian organisations and local NGOs operating in West Africa have faced severe funding shortfalls, further worsening the humanitarian situation. Let's move a bit further south now to Sudan, where civil war will enter its third year in April 2026. The conflict, which has killed more than 150,000 people and internally displaced around 12 million, is being fought between the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, a paramilitary force allegedly backed by the UAE, which grew out of the Arab Janjaweed militia, and the Sudanese Armed Forces, or SAF, which is backed by Egypt and Turkey. Sudan is now effectively split into two blocks governed by opposing sides. In October, the RSF, which controls much of western Sudan and the Darfur region, captured the city of El Fasher after an 18-month siege. While the SAF still currently controls the capital Khartoum and eastern regions, it's increasingly under pressure in central Sudan's Kordofan region, where RSF advances threaten vital supply routes linking Khartoum to Darfur. Next year, analysts expect the conflict to continue, with each side seeking to consolidate its gains and fight for territory in Kordofan, despite a renewed effort by the so-called Quad Group of the US, UAE, Saudi Arabia and Egypt to negotiate a ceasefire. The final potential conflict to keep an eye on next year is Taiwan. Despite the US's long-standing policy of strategic ambiguity on Taiwan, Trump's return to office has heightened concerns among Taiwanese officials who worry that Trump might not intervene to defend the island in a...
Do you think he's going to spread himself too thin? Like, honest question. Like, we're pulling out of UN. We're picking fights with Iran. We're stealing the heads of a nation, heads of the country of Venezuela. We're talking about Taiwan. Like, I think we're spreading ourselves a little thin.
A potential conflict with China. Chinese President Xi Jinping is believed to have set a deadline of 2027 for the Chinese military to be ready to invade Taiwan. And this month, China deployed 100 warships across the East and South China Seas, in its largest maritime show of force to date. At the moment, analysts think a Chinese blockade of Taiwan is more likely than an invasion, which would be one of the most logistically and geographically difficult military operations ever attempted. But even a naval blockade would risk economic backlash through sanctions on China by the US or its allies. That said, America's so-called China hawks are...
He straight up looks like he's in an old folks home in like a wheelchair peeking over at like whatever's on the TV while he waits for like his mashed potatoes.
concerned that China is preparing for a potential conflict, given its ongoing stockpiling of commodities like oil, gas and critical metals. Although it's also possible that China is just stockpiling to ensure the security of its supply chains amid global trade uncertainty. Finally, we should end by acknowledging that there are also ongoing conflicts between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, Congo and Rwanda in East Africa, and India and Pakistan in
I noticed he didn't say Palestine.
Kashmir, as well as proxy conflicts in the Middle East, a civil war in Myanmar, and rising tensions between Ethiopia and Eritrea. Sadly, as the ICRC points out, armed conflict is now a defining feature of our time, with 2026 likely to see a continuation of localised conflicts across the globe, and a widening gap between humanitarian need and provision. We're taking a break from regularly posting over the festive period, but if you did want more from TLDR, then...
That was pretty good. I wish he said Palestine instead of Hamas. And I'm just looking at this Let's Talk Elections video right here. And I'm like, man, nobody likes JD Vance. Like if Trump were to like, let's just say like go in his sleep, right? Like let's just say he has like an aneurysm in his sleep. You know, whatever. He's in his 70s, has a heart attack, whatever. JD Vance would then become president. And I really think the administration hates JD Vance so much that they would dump him. I really think that they would like vote to impeach JD Vance before they vote to impeach Trump. Why did the Trump regime will fall? 6 days ago. Bye. Hold on. Sometimes paste won't work. Copy paste. Oh my god. Randolph Fink? I'm sorry. Randolph Fink? I'm sorry if I said that wrong.
To create a fascist movement, you need an energetic leader, leading a group of people who possess more than the average share of free time, brutality and stupidity. Then you fascinate the fools with emotional excitement, and you muscle the intelligent with terrorism. These were the words of British philosopher Bertrand Russell in 1940. He said the technique for creating a fascist movement is as old as the hills. And I would add it's everlasting.
Older than the... Younger than the mountain. Oh, it like the breeze. Ashes roll. Get out of my home. 1940. Wow. It's like, what is it? Bread and treats or circus and treats? That's like how fascists win, is circus and treats.
For today, 85 years later, we are seeing another rise of fascism. When Russell mentions an energetic leader leading a movement of stupid but brutal people, many Russians think of Vladimir Putin. Hungarians think of Viktor Orban. And if you live in the United States, you now think of Donald Trump. But how can fascism still be effective today when we've seen it all before? And in this dire moment, how can we defeat fascism and save the free world? Let's take a closer look.
When this video is over, I'm gonna raid out into Tim the Cake because I saw he was live. So please stick around for another 25 minutes. The stream went by fast, man.
To fight fascism, we need to understand fascism. So in this episode, I will show you 3 characteristics that separate fascism from democracy: power, governance, and justice. And I will reveal the strengths and weaknesses of fascism because knowing both is our first step towards winning. We begin by looking at power. In medieval times, kings would rule until their death. But modern democracy changed that by giving people the right to vote. Consequently, in a democracy, the means for winning power is popularity. We think
no, it's the Electoral College.
This is normal, but we forget that throughout history, dictatorships have been the norm. And if you're thinking, good riddance, we got rid of that, I'm sorry to report the free world is shrinking. And for the first time in decades, autocracies now outnumber democracies. We expect our democracies to be resilient because few would vote for someone who openly state they will end democracy. But there's a trick, which aspiring dictators use. They spread disinformation, they sow distrust and reinforce cultural division. They raise their level of fear. This way, they scare voters into thinking the heavy-handed methods of fascism are necessary to make us safe again. In Germany 100 years ago, Adolf Hitler did just that by segregating people into 2 groups: the chosen people, which was the ethnic German majority, and the unwanted, which initially just meant the Jewish population. By constantly claiming that Jews were the source of every problem, Hitler...
It was not just the Jewish population. It was also the LGBTQ, communists, socialists, Russians, the mentally disabled, like children with autism. It wasn't just, it was 12 million people, 6 million Jews, 6 million, everything I just named.
Turned them into an enemy, and that served 2 purposes. First, When fearing a common enemy, it is our human nature to focus on this perceived danger and pay less attention to a dictator in the covert process of transforming society into a fascist dictatorship. And second, by dehumanizing the unwanted, fascist leaders get away with subjecting this group to mistreatment without meeting much resistance, as people outside the group still feel safe. This slowly normalizes violence, injustice, and oppression, and gradually fascists then expand the definition of the unwanted group to encompass more and more people, until anyone can be subjected to mistreatment. This introduces a powerful dichotomy. Either you're with us, or you are with the unwanted, and at this point, no one wants to be the unwanted. Donald Trump is doing just that. Think of how many times he told his voters this phrase about immigrants.
They're coming from prisons. They're coming from jails. They're coming from
That's what Hitler used
mental
to say.
institutions and insane asylums.
Research from the Marshall Project shows Trump repeated this claim 560 times without ever documenting a single real-world example of this happening. In fascism, endless repetition is what transforms one person's lies into everyone's truth. And to really drive it home, Trump said this.
We got a lot of work to do. You know, when they let, I think the real number is 15, 16 million people into our country, when they do that, we got a lot of work to do. They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done.
That's a straight up Hitler quote right there. They're poisoning the blood of our nation, I think is the actual quote.
They poison mental
This unique phrase really let the fascist cat out of the bag, because it's a striking flashback to a 1925 book in which its author claimed Jews were poisoning the blood of Germany. That was the book Mein Kampf, written by Adolf Hitler. As soon as Trump got elected, he too began expanding the definition of the unwanted. On the campaign trail, Trump talked about deporting murderers and drug traffickers and rapists.
Yeah, but like people who knew that's not what he meant.
But by May, he had deported 120,000 people who had no criminal record, and by November, statistics showed that only 5% of the people arrested by ICE had a violent conviction, while 73% had no prior convictions at all. This is the reason farmers who may have voted for Trump now see their own workers deported. It's the reasons Hispanics who voted for Trump see their family members disappeared. They were tricked by the fascist method, manipulation. But now comes the hard part for any fascist, staying in power. Because transforming an entire democracy into a fascist dictatorship takes a long time, and the transition period is volatile as more and more people see the erosion of democracy and begin to fight back. So how do fascists remain in power? Hitler's Nazi party was getting unpopular in 1932, and the Nazis lost 34 seats in parliament. So Hitler bet on manipulation once more, and
it was kind of like how Mussolini's party didn't win like the first year like the communists did.
Held new elections in March 1933. Hitler used his paramilitary force, die Sturmabteilung, to unleash a widespread campaign of violence against members of other political parties. He spread propaganda across the nation, and his other paramilitary group, die Schutzstaffel, or the SS, was used to monitor the elections to secure the outcome Hitler wanted. The manipulation worked, and the Nazi Party gained 10.8 percentage points. Hitler formed a majority coalition government, and just 18 days later, they made Hitler dictator of Germany. Trump is now in this same volatile transition period. And
they also went to like it's not the Tsar, like head of Germany. And they were like, yo, sign this paper and I'll help out your country. And that gave like Hitler like full like immunity to do whatever he wanted. And he was like effectively the everything, the Führer of the country.
Just like Hitler, he desperately needs to win the upcoming midterm elections. But unlike Hitler, Trump does not have a private paramilitary force like die Schutzstaffel. Instead, Trump has tripled the budget of ICE to $28.7 billion. This has allowed ICE to increase their deadly weapons spending by 700%. So Trump too can intimidate and spread violence across the nation with the military force he alone controls. Unlike Hitler, Trump cannot take control of printing presses and radio transmitters to spread propaganda. Instead, Trump has initiated legal battles against news media like ABC, CNN, CBS, The Wall Street Journal, The New York Times, and even the British BBC. All in an attempt to stifle the free press. So far, this has only worked on the BBC, who is now censoring historian Rutger Bregman by re-editing the annual radio lecture to erase his findings that Trump is the most openly corrupt president in American history. Apparently, BBC thinks Winston Churchill taught us, "We shall surrender on the beaches, we shall surrender on the landing grounds, and in the fields, and in the media too." To protect his propaganda messages from scrutiny, Trump has tried to hide the worsening US economy. First, he fired Erica McIntyre, who was commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics because her organization revealed unemployment is on the rise. And in November, Trump cancelled the release of the GDP data for the third quarter, which would otherwise have told the inconvenient truth that Trump's economy is failing. In a direct assault on democracy, Trump has also ordered Republican governors to redraw the maps of their election districts, what we call gerrymandering, and this can have serious consequences. For simplicity, imagine we live in a state with just 9 people, divided into 3 horizontal election districts. Each district elects 1 seat in Congress. The result is 2 districts elect a Republican and 1 district elects a Democrat. But Trump wants the districts redrawn, so if a governor then redraws the map with 3 vertical districts, Republicans will win all 3 seats by a 2-to-1 majority. Of course, this is blatantly undemocratic, but Trump is now fighting in court to make it happen. If you hear anyone say that surely Trump is not trying to end democracy, show them what he said at the Believers Summit when campaigning in 2024.
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed, it'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you.
So on our political spectrum, from democracy to fascism, all of the above shows Trump is not betting on winning democratically through popularity. Trump prepares for fascist manipulation. To function properly, both democratic governments and fascist dictatorships need to govern, but they do so by very different means. In democratic societies, we govern through compromise. Whether we are building a new subway or making changes to the tax code, we find common ground. Even though compromises are not always ideal for everyone, at least democracy delivers reasonable solutions for most people most of the time. The problem is, compromise requires intelligent thinking, and as psychologist Abraham Maslow explained in 1943, humans are motivated by needs. Our basic instincts do not tell us to compromise, but to fulfill our needs. Imagine you and I are involved in the same plane crash on a remote island. We quickly realize that by collaborating, we will increase our chances of survival. So we go out hunting together, and on the way we agree to split the food 50-50. That is our compromise. But we were not alone on that plane, and as we bring back the food to the crash site, we meet all the other hungry passengers who are now highly motivated by their basic instincts. If society was normal, no one could take our food. Laws and law enforcement would prevent that. But all it takes is one aspiring fascist leader to convince the hungry to listen to their basic instincts. Forget the rules, because when you and I die, they can have all the food. That is what enables fascism. The fascist promise is those inside the fascist group do not need to compromise because they can brute force their solutions upon society. This is why, for thousands of years, our world was violent. Stronger tribes killed weaker tribes, and fascist dictators ruled the world. Gradually, anarchy has been replaced by governance. We have formed advanced societies with laws and regulations to ensure prosperity for all. And in this rule-based world, the fascists lose power. Those who dream of being dictators are just citizens like you and me, subject to the same laws as you and me. And doesn't that suck if you really want to be king? Fortunately for the fascists, they still possess one powerful weapon to fight democracy: capitalism. And some of the most successful business people who are really tired of playing by the rules happen to have a lot of capital. So it's no surprise that someone like Elon Musk would seek influence on US politics. To control public discourse, he first acquired Twitter for $44 billion, and then proceeded to spend $277 million and a lot of effort to get Trump elected. This bought Musk the job as leader of the Department of Government Efficiency, which began firing thousands of employees in various organizations responsible for the public oversight of private companies. Companies like Neuralink, SpaceX, Tesla, Twitter and XAI, all owned by Elon Musk. According to a report from Public Citizen, Elon Musk's companies were facing 17 different serious federal investigations, and they were all shut down. Obviously, this was not a constructive political compromise carefully crafted by Congress. Trump's government is disregarding American democracy to brutally force through its own agenda. On our political spectrum, this places Trump far away from democratic compromise all the way towards fascism and brute force governance.
So many similarities. Bernie, no. Bernie standing no.
For my friends, everything. For my enemies, the law. These were the words of Peruvian dictator Oscar Benavides. They are chilling words because they send us back to the medieval era where kings and noblemen would commit crimes with impunity, before French revolutionaries finally dragged them to the guillotine to end the injustice. French politician Marquis de Lafayette drafted the French Declaration.
I have to say, current wealth inequality of the United States is lower than the wealth inequality of the French Revolution.
Of human and civic rights, which impacted the democratic development throughout the world. It began with Article 1. Men are born and remain free and equal in rights. Let's not be blind to the fact that it took France another 155 years to give women equal rights. But my point is, this revolution inspired modern-day equality before the law. It was what US Senator John Bingham wrote in the 14th Amendment in 1866. No state can deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. And yes, that was a Republican ensuring everyone, no matter your gender, race or citizenship, is treated equally under the law. But sadly, fascism is more on the side of Oscar Benavides, because in a fascist society, segregating people into two groups also influences how laws are applied. This is the reason Jews had their properties confiscated in Nazi Germany, a practice the Nazis did not subject their own chosen people to. In modern times, it is the reason Putin's enemies keep falling out of windows, with investigators mysteriously never finding out who pushed them, because fascist leaders prefer selective justice. The most striking example of this happened in the United States when Trump came back into power. The US Department of Justice had been investigating the January 6 rioters, and 1,270 of them had already been convicted in a court of law. These people had committed serious crimes, including violent assault on police officers, that led to 140 officers being injured. But because these criminals were marketed
Back the blue unless it's January 6th.
Supporters, Trump's chosen people, Trump felt differently about January 6th.
But that was a day of love.
So on Trump's first day in office, he granted clemency to nearly 1,600 people. And in stark contrast, Trump's treatment of his perceived enemies has been vicious. On September 21, Trump was writing a private message to his Attorney General, Pam Bondi. But it was 44 minutes past midnight, and maybe Trump was tired because he accidentally typed the message into the Truth Social app and hit post. Pam, what about Comey?
Pam, there's a 3-minute ad break coming in. Please subscribe. Or if you don't want somebody else to see those ads, gift them a subby. Ad break start in 40 seconds.
Adam Shifty Schiff, Letitia. Justice must be served now. Comey refers to former FBI Director James Comey, who led the Bureau when Trump was investigated in 2017. And just 4 days after Trump's post, Comey was indicted. Currently, the Justice Department is also trying to indict Democratic Senator Adam Schiff, and Letitia refers to Letitia James, who was indicted on October 9, and that was only the beginning. Trump has initiated legal action against his former national security advisor, now Trump critic John Bolton, as well as former special counsel Jack Smith, who investigated Trump in relation to the January 6 riots and more. And lately, Trump called for the execution of Mark Kelly, a political opponent, astronaut, and former captain of the Navy, whom Pete Hegseth is now trying to recall into service, to have him court-martialed. All because these people are defenders of democracy. So, on our political spectrum, Trump is far away from the equal justice we know in democracies. Like every fascist in history, Trump is all the way towards selective justice. As Oscar Benavides said, "For my friends, everything. For my enemies, the law."
It's all just smoke and mirrors. Never trust in what you see.
Trump, where's Sleepy Joe?
Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person?
Every time I follow blindly, it just leaves me right back to me.
For anyone who cares about democracy, 2025 has been a horrible year. In our lifetime, the US has been a beacon for democracy, and now a darkness has descended upon Washington. But I promise you, there is a beautiful light on the horizon. Because as carefully as Trump has tried to copy the fascist playbook, he has made one fatal oversight. Donald, we are not in Nazi Germany anymore. Adolf Hitler was a patient, evil man. He spent 14 years carefully planning the rise of fascism. He used the imperceptibility of minute changes and slowly groomed the German population into believing fascism was the only solution. Trump, however, is trying to do all that in just months. Hitler lived in a country isolated by the language barrier, where propaganda would have maximum impact. He came to power in the golden age of radio, and he controlled the broadcast. Americans do not speak German. They speak an international language which streams the truth from voices all over the world. Like Adolf Hitler, Trump is trying to control the narrative with a fire hose of falsehoods.
How big is that?
But the truth spreads like nature's unstoppable rain. Hitler rose when few women were educated and men dominated the world. Men who by nature are more receptive to brutal fascist ideas. Trump and his cabinet have copied fascism because fascism nearly brought the free world to its knees. The key word here is nearly. Because freedom is a force which is not easily subdued. And in the land of the free, clinging on to power with oppression is certainly a losing strategy. Trump is not der Führer in one homogeneous country. He is president of 50 independent states, which all have their own police forces, their own judges upholding the rule of law. And they all run their own elections. Trump's henchmen have left equal justice behind, because in our moral universe, fascism is like a black hole where good people know to stay away, but bad people get sucked right in. Think of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who has now given illegal orders to kill sailors on boats suspected of drug trafficking. This has led to the murder of 83 sailors in international waters. No indictments, no trials.
It would be really nice to see him stand trial. Because I wonder if he would get the alcohol shakes.
Just brute force executions. Pete Hegseth is in so deep, there is no way back. Or think of Christine Noem, who proudly took photos of herself in a concentration camp she deported immigrants to, in violation of the US Constitution. No indictments, no trial, there is no way back for her. Or think of Pam Bondi, who is running this selective justice department. There is no way back. Hitler had the foresight to hire some really twisted minds, people who could murder in cold blood and go straight to dinner without feeling sick. Trump, on the other hand, has made a drunken Fox News host leader of his military, a conspiracy theorist leader of the FBI, and an immature liar is now in charge of his propaganda. And for a time, this clown bus is blazing down the highway, full of idiots celebrating their illusion of power, while the wannabe dictator plays driver at the wheel. But there's a sharp turn up ahead. And when the midterm elections come, I predict the American people will make that turn, while the bus will tumble down the hill. Hitler's evil men thought his empire would last forever. But in November 1945, an officer closed the door to a courtroom in Nuremberg, and their crimes saw the light of day. In 2026, another November is coming, because, as the real king once said, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice.
That was a great video. Oh my god. Oh wow, that was like, I really appreciate that. There were like one or two things I had to like anecdote, but like it's fine. It's not a big deal. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here for the night. We're gonna raid into Tim the Cake, my good friend, my buddy, my pal. And we're gonna call it a night here. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's back to my regular schedule. I am at 11 a.m. tomorrow. 11 a.m. Tuesdays, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, and 6 p.m. Sundays, Wednesday, Thursdays. I'll remember it eventually. All right. Oh, what is he playing? The Godfather? Interesting. All right, everybody. I am going to get out of here for the night. I will see you hopefully tomorrow morning. Hopefully I remember to bring the right paint out, but otherwise have a safe and wonderful night. I'll see you guys later. Bye.